Give me 1 second, folks. I'm kind of befuddled here.
Chuck, Chuck, just my luck. Ain't like Wilson, he ain't no cook. Praise God, he ain't like Talcott, 12-inch rod. Stick it to Imperious. Lay down the law, not grift no state. Has seen better days, but I like to compete. So now, what can I say? Chuck, Chuck, don't give a fuck. If you're in the family, he'll show you love. Now, oh no, say it ain't so. Come on now, go. Don't take it slow.
All right, folks. Welcome to the show. I'm going to bring Sasquatch up. Welcome, Mr.
You have an echo.
Sasquatch. Oh, I know why. Oh, bear with me 1 second.
My bad. That was me. I apologize.
You got me over here.
Yeah, I
Panicking.
had one open over here, and I got caught because I'm not in my usual production thing that I
Yeah,
usually
we
do.
haven't exactly touched base with each other like we should have. This was kind of a last minute. I needed a little bit of help. That's why I called
Okay, let's
you
do
up.
this right then. Let's just jump off from the very beginning. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our very first attempt together of an AA style something.
Yeah, it's open. It's open. It's
It'll
not.
be open. He does have some stuff planned that he wants to show. I'm not. I guess he's already dropped the link, unless he wants to take it away.
No, I pulled it. I pulled it.
Okay.
At least it said I did.
I mean, I can't tell. I've got your share screen up over here instead of you, which is how we
Gotcha.
ended up in that problem with the echo because I was trying to watch the chat.
Ah, I see, said the blind man. But I got a little clip I want to play, folks, that has a little bit to do with. It's an older clip. It's from older gentlemen that have been in the program longer than I've been alive. But it touches upon a medical viewpoint upon the thing we call addiction. So that's what I was going to lead with and then open the panel up. If it gets too boring, it might put people to sleep. I will pause it and open it up for questions or whatnot because I realize it's not everybody's cup of tea.
Well,
So
there's a standard way that this is handled in the YouTube sphere, Panelverse or otherwise. Typically, you dedicate 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever you want to your topic, show, your point, whatever it is. So what I would suggest, and I've mentioned this before, but some people don't like organization. I really like organization. Choose
Me
a
too.
chapter. Right, we're not going to do this tonight, but in the future, choose a chapter. It doesn't have to be in order, just whichever one. Come in, basically go over the point of the chapter, find a video that describes the chapter well or whatever, and do that thing, and then open the panel and let people come up. And the aim is to stay in the topic of the chapter, but that's not necessarily the destination.
that's what I've been trying to do. So
All right, we'll see if we can do it.
I'm going to pull your screen up and we'll play it and we'll kind of gauge where it goes from there. If it's too dry for everybody, then I'll stop it and we'll go from there.
Okay. So give us a good quick rundown. This is
Okay.
Joe and Charlie, the doctor's opinion on alcoholism, right?
Yes. And these two fellas, like I said, are older than dirt, but they break it down pretty good. You know, it beats me trying to sit here and read and explain what they're going to talk about. And mind you, they are Southern boys. They are a little slow. So if it's too much for people, just let me know.
All right. So on its surface, I say we aim for 3 minute a stretch.
3 to 5.
And
yep.
With 3 to 5 minutes at a stretch, let them finish their topic or point or whatever. It's a 57-minute long video you've got here, so we're going to try to limit some of the interruptions to get through it.
I wasn't planning on playing the whole thing.
Okay. Do you have a timestamp or anything you want to work with, or just roll with it?
Start from the beginning.
All right. Giggity.
And we've had medical people, spiritual people, throughout our history try to determine what alcoholism is. There was a doctor named Dr. Trotter that lived in England a long time ago. And he said that I believe alcoholism is an illness. But he couldn't explain what it was, therefore they didn't have an answer for it.
We'll try.
There was a doctor that lived here in the United States named Dr. Benjamin Rush. He's one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. He wrote a paper on alcoholism, described the alcoholic. And he said he felt it was an illness too. But he couldn't name what it was, he couldn't determine it, so he had no solution. It's only in this century that we have been able to find out what alcoholism is. And then once we found out what it is, then we could find a solution to it. You know, I don't think we alcoholics today who are in AA realize how lucky we really are to be living in the period of time that we have been able to, when we found out what alcoholism is and we found out the solution to it. And as I look at our history, which we're going to be doing a lot of this weekend, I'm convinced in my mind that God got tired of seeing people like us die from alcoholism. And He took various different people from around the world and gave us these pieces of information that allows us to recover from that condition today. And I think one of the first persons that He used was this little doctor called Dr. Silkworth. When Dr. Silkworth was in medical school, he became very interested in we alcoholics. But when he got out of medical school, he learned, like most doctors did, it was very difficult to make a living working with alcoholics. Most doctors do not like to work with alcoholics. They said then and they say today that an alcoholic will not tell you the truth. That's certainly true, isn't it? And they said they will not do what we tell them to do. And that's certainly true, isn't it? But they said the main reason we don't want to work with them is they won't pay their bills.
Give me 1 second so I can find this link.
Yes, sir, Joe.
Description.
Okay. This is about how the medical profession used to view Alcoholics Anonymous in the beginning. It might be a little dated for some, and they talk slower than me and Sasquatch.
He seems to believe they talk better than us, so he got us there. I'm giving all of the creditations in the description on my side. When this goes live, it'll be in the description on my page. I can't do it for him, so I will drop it in the chat, though, in a minute. I mean,
you got a wrench here, I think. If not, I will give you what.
And okay. I'm not going to do the whole thing, though. I'll just do...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's quite a lengthy...
Well, it's been up for a while, too. Good stuff.
I told you, these boys are older than dirt.
Right. Okay. I think I got everything. Wait, one more thing. The actual video itself. Skadoosh. And... Bam-a-lam. And I'll let it go with the standard thing. And all right, we'll be live on mine in 2 seconds. 2 seconds. All right. Tail. All
right, ready, homeboy.
What he was saying about how the doctors view it differently then as opposed to today, and not knowing what it is that causes it. I don't even. But I've bred bulldogs and beagles when we were younger, and about 20% of bulldogs and 20% of beagles will seek out alcohol if they ever encounter it. why.
Pigs,
Same
pigs are the, pigs are the same way.
Yep, pigs. You can dump moonshine mash out in a pig pen, and about half the pigs will never touch it. They'll go over, snarfle at it, and then walk away. The other half the pigs will eat some amount of it, but then you'll have these two. If you got 100 pigs, you might have 15 or 20 that just go lay down in it and eat until they go to pass out, and then wake up and eat until they pass out. Those are the alcoholics of the pig world, just like us.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not sure it has to be rational or reasonable,
I don't know if there is any rational reason to it, to be honest with you.
I mean, it kind of feels all chemical, in my opinion. It's like...
That's how it was explained to me.
It does something in the brain that in some people feels like it's missing, like something that should be happening and is not in their natural state, but with alcohol it happens. But I don't think it's supposed to happen, right?
Correct.
So that's what makes it a negative. That's why it's a bad thing.
It was explained to me that the dopamine receptors turn off dopamine and will only accept the pieces that have alcohol attached to them. Is how it was explained to me. I'm not saying they're right or wrong.
Well, that's a very strong simplification of it, but I get what they were trying to say. Dopamine is dopamine, but if you take a line of Coke, it's not going to do the same thing to you as it will to a person who does Coke daily, right?
Yeah. There's a chemical reaction in the brain. I can't explain it.
It's not your thing. That's not your drug of choice. Your drug of choice was alcohol, and so alcohol does something totally different from you than a different drug. Same thing with me. My drug of choice was opiates, and it does. I can drink or not drink. I haven't drank in a couple of weeks now. Haven't really had the opportunity. I've been too busy, so I just don't. Right? Like I got to go pick up my daughter here in a couple of hours, so I'm not drinking tonight at all. But that's not my drug of choice. You know what I mean? I can walk away from that with little or no fuss, no muss. I've had 2 pints sitting over here for a couple of weeks, and I ain't touched it. On the other hand, and it's not just the physical addiction or the psychological addiction, this is the part that leads to those things.
Yes.
Opiates do something in my brain that's different from the normal person. Now, yeah, sure, they like opiates. They take them, they feel good, but then they get up and they walk away from it with no issue, which is just baffling to an actual addict like that.
True. Because I can take an opiate, but if I take too much of it, I'll get physically ill.
Right.
So
right now,
I don't have the luxury of copping a buzz, so to speak.
Well, right now I've been clean for so long, and I was such a heavy addict. One of the things that happens when you're doing these types of drugs, and it's true for alcohol too, your brain becomes more sensitive and more adept at picking up signals from your drugs of choice, right?
Yeah.
So you become more sensitive to it. So at this point, I can take a very small dose in pill form, and it will make me physically ill. I will be barfing out the back door, sweating with my eyes vibrating and doing the whole 9 yards like I was on an overdose, right? And knowing that is part of what keeps me clean, but also knowing that the other end of this is another 3 weeks in hell.
Fact.
Which is something alcoholics don't really get, because alcoholism, it's one of the hardest things on earth to quit doing. It has a physical bind on your brain that's so tight. There's a term referred to as wet brain, where people walk around like they're drunk and they're stone cold sober.
Oh, yes. I've encountered a few of them in my career.
All right,
you know, They told me I died twice in the hospital trying to withdraw from alcohol. I can only take their word for it because I was so far out of it, I didn't know which end was up. But anyway, roll the bean footage.
So Dr. Silkworth, in order to find a way to make a living, had to go off into another field, but always interested in we alcoholics. And he became very successful in his field. But in the late 1930s or 1920s, we had, of course, the great stock market crash. And Silky had everything he owned invested in the stock market. And he lost it just like everybody else did. Lost the good job he had. And he had to find a job somewhere. And Charlie Towns from the Towns Hospital, who Silky had met before through his interest in alcoholics, offered him a job. And said, why don't you come to work here and I'll pay you $30 a week in room and board. And you can help me in working with other alcoholics, or working with alcoholics. So Silky went to work in the Towns Hospital in 1930. And he began to work with people like us, and he began to see us come into the hospital. Terrible, terrible physical and mental condition. And he began to withdraw us from alcohol, build the body up, and etc. And 30, 60, 90 days later, he would see us leave the hospital in reasonably good shape. And then a month or two or three or four later, he'd see us come back in worse shape than we were before. Continually.
And that is a feature that is found in almost every case of addiction out there.
Correct.
You can have the desire to quit. You can have the will to do so. You can even pull off the capability of it, only to fall right back into the same trap as soon as you leave the safe space you've created.
But the sad part is you pick up right where you left off. You think you're starting over, and it's not like that.
Well, it depended on, well, I mean, it's worse really, because once you've broken that cycle of addiction where you start to withdraw and you treat the withdrawal instead of trying to treat the disease itself, right? You start treating the withdrawal so that you can function. There's a period of time before that where it's all just good fun. And that is the trap.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that's the hardest to dodge, because it's right there in front of you. It's your buds going, hey, man, let's go by the bar. You ain't got a drink.
But yet they buy you one.
Sure, because, it's 2 drink minimum. But you ain't got a drink.
Sure. I tried that. It didn't work out so well.
All right, next time we do this, I'm going to try to find something to have up for video movement cover.
Yeah,
just for flashing lights and pretty. No, it's fine. I just didn't know if I'd have known. I usually have something handy, but I didn't think about it.
And this was an afterthought on my part. I kind of waited till the last minute because I didn't know what time I was going to get home.
That's fine. I got no hate for it. Although, for stuff like this, so that people looking for things like this will be able to find it, it's better for the viewers to have like a scheduled type thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be every day or once a week or anything like that.
Good point.
At 10 p.m. or at midnight or whatever, right?
Not a problem on my end. I can adhere to a schedule.
Right. Me too. In fact, I'm autistic about it. I can't.
Me too.
Never mind.
Going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. He also noticed some people that he worked with who drank like we drank, but did not go in and out and in and out and in and out. He also noticed other people who drank moderately and safely. And he began to say there's something different about these alcoholics. There's something different about the body. Apparently alcohol does something to them that it doesn't do to normal people. And he began to develop this little idea that when you put alcohol in your body, it produces an actual physical craving that makes it impossible for us to stop drinking. But he also said even in those days, that's not the real problem with the alcoholic. He said the real problem is that the alcoholic cannot keep from drinking. He said people who are heavy drinkers, people who are moderate drinkers, if they want to quit drinking, they just quit, and it doesn't bother them at all. But he said it seems as though the alcoholic, after they quit, the mind begins to play tricks.
Well, Dr. D-Head, I have a response for that one. I can't highlight that comment. Knowledge alone won't keep you sober.
Holy
so don't
shit.
bother. Hold on. That's true. Knowledge alone will not keep you sober because you have to have the desire and the drive to do so. You do
And
it.
the tools. And the tools.
I am a little different on that. I think we all have the tools. We just don't know how to use them. And some of us need to learn how to use the tools to be able to do it. And that's where AA comes in. I couldn't do AA. It didn't work for me. I went, I did all the things, but I got to a point where I realized myself that I have a lack of self-control and that I have to take responsibility for that self-control and that I have to initiate my own self-control. And that's what it took for me to get clean.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Right. But I mean, I'm not saying AA didn't help. I've met lots of great people there and I'm friends with them still. It's just the method, the system, the whole thing here is extremely religious. It's extremely spiritual. It's almost all of our meetings are held in churches. And so there's kind of an overbearing religiosity with the fuzzy wuzzies. Ain't got a problem with it. It just didn't work for me.
It did come from the original Oxford movement. If anybody's remembers way back then, it was a thing called the Oxford movement, which was a religious organization. I will give you that.
And like I said, I ain't got nothing against it. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Go for it. Do what it takes, because being clean is worth it.
Yeah, I've had people sober up without having to use the spiritual component.
Right. Well, that's basically what I'm saying here. One of the issues I had, and this isn't true for all AA, although it seems to be relatively common in the Southeast at least, is the combination, the group prayer thing that happens at the beginning. I'm fine with.
Yep.
But down here, we got Southern Baptists. And if you're having an AA meeting in a Southern Baptist church, there is probably going to be at least one laying on hands taking place. Don't touch me.
I understand. Because we had the same following in the St. Louis area, 24/7 meetings, because St. Louis was so big at the time. But the trick was finding the group that wasn't caught up in the dogma and the what's the word I'm looking for, where they chant these things like they're gospel. And that's a hard thing to find, especially when you're just coming off of alcohol. You got these stupid people talking to you.
And they keep talking in freaking parables and in euphemisms, and they don't ever say what they actually mean. But if you think about what they're saying, it means what they mean. It's just that you don't understand it for what it means. And
that's a fact.
And that's very frustrating. And I like to tell people when things like that start happening is you've got to cut it up small enough for them to chew. You can't give them the whole biblical verse because they don't get it, right?
My sponsor used to say that. He said, I want you to get out on your knees and practice some praying. Okay, I got down on my knees and I look around the room and I look at the cat and I look at the ceiling. And he said, how's that prayer going? I said, what prayer? He said, the one in the book. I said, well, that damn thing's too big for me to memorize. He said, look here, dumbass, take the book with you and just read it out of the book.
Read it out loud.
I was one of them assholes. You know, you want me to do what?
It feels like homework, especially to a roustabout lush junkie who don't do nothing but sit around all day and try to figure out where he's getting his next drink from.
Exactly. I
had a full-time job too, so like
me too. They put me off work for 60 days to see if I could get my act together. I'm like, fuck that. I know how to work. I just don't know how to drink like a normal person. I went there expecting to learn how to drink like a normal person.
See,
Find out real quick. That's not me.
That's what. Not only is that not you, that's not it. That's not the thing. There is no drink like a normal person. Normal people don't want to drink. They do so in social settings because it alleviates anxiety and whatnot. But at this point, we're all so very anxious with every single step in our lives that we drink all the time. Or in the case of other drugs, you do your drug of choice anytime a stressful situation occurs.
There goes StreamYard again.
You'll figure it out, bro. It'll be fine. Anytime that happens. I know. You were fixing to say something. You were getting it good, bro. I saw it coming.
He gave me the wiener.
Wiener. Let's go through and talk to the chat for a second. We haven't done any of that. So what we got over here is some Dominique. Dominique, who's that? I've seen
Dominique.
Yeah,
Dominique
Tersigny.
Yeah, I can't ever say his damn name.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get him to say it. Lindsay Smith is in the house. Good to see you, chick. Got Joe motherfucking Cool. What's up, baby? How's your wife and my kids? Logical Spark has showed up. It's good to see him. We got the real OG. Dr. D-Head. All right, so Dr. D-Head, if he happens to show up on your channel, he's a very negative individual, but at the same time, I don't think he's actually trolling. I just think he's that unhappy.
Yeah, I've seen him around a bunch, and I don't.
So like, I don't think blocking him is worth it, is what I'm saying. Because he has decent points. We got El Perro, Hotep yourself, bro.
I dropped the link, I thought.
Yeah, but you got to pin it on your YouTube side. But
I did, Daddy. I did. Let me try it again.
Don't call me Daddy. Don't do it. It ain't worth it. We got Austin Murphy in the chat. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming through. GT. Pretty sure I know him as someone else when they don't have the @ symbols.
Did that go? No, that's the wrong link.
That's what you've been dropping is whatever the video here is that you shared.
Oh Lord, I'm about to go get a bottle. This is crazy.
No, sir.
Oh, son of a bitch.
If any drinking takes place here tonight, it'll be me, not you.
Let's try this again. And it's just like the title says. The title says it all. If you want to drink, that's up to you. If you want to quit, that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. But that's not what it says.
Oh, it's not? Oh, no, shit.
What it says is if you want to drink, that's up to you. But if you want to quit, then it's mine.
Oh.
Well, I didn't change it.
Man, I quit. This damn auto spell is crap.
Yeah, well, we do what we can.
And we will.
To think of.
Officer Murphy has joined us.
I've been trying to join for the past freaking 10 minutes, Chuck.
Well, the link
I've
is
been clicking on all the links and nothing would work.
That's because I'm a drunk.
Damn it! I just got home from AA.
AA, BB, CC. Take your pick.
Yeah, as long as it works, I don't really care.
Are you familiar with Joe and Charlie Austin?
No.
Okay.
Roll it. Or do you have something in particular you'd like to say there, Austin?
Not really. I was trying to join a little bit ago. I have to go in a few minutes. My neighbor's bringing me some dinner, so.
Female, I hope.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Smash burgers.
Yeah, that's what she calls them.
I bet.
So when's she gonna stop being the neighbor?
Never.
Now wait a minute. When did Lindsay move in next door to you?
Oh dear. Why you got to take shots, Chuck? It's not what it's for.
It's a joke.
You got plenty of.
They always flirt and chat.
Absolutely.
I gotta take these guys out anyways. I can't even be on panel. I got shit to do.
All right, bud. Thank you for coming by.
Yep.
Well, sorry I screwed up the link. You can get mad and go away.
Rage quit. We won that argument.
For sure.
About one or two drinks and how it makes them feel. And he said that idea becomes so powerful that it overcomes the idea that they can't drink, and they take a drink and end up drunk every time. He said, now if you can't drink safely, and if you can't keep from drinking, then you're powerless over alcohol. Now, we don't know whether Bill Wilson is the first one he told that to or not, but we know Bill is probably the first one to act on that information. Then after Bill got sober, and after Dr. Bob got sober, and after Bill Dodson got sober, and after the first 40 got sober, based on that information, and decided to write the book, they went to see Dr. Silkworth and said, well, you let us put that information in the book so that other alcoholics can see what their problem is too. And they said, will you write some of it for us? And the doctor said, yeah, you can use it, and I'll write some of it under one condition, that we will call it the doctor's opinion. He said, I can't prove it. There's no facts behind it, so we'll just have to call it an opinion. And he said, by the way, don't use my name. He said, they'll throw me completely out of the medical profession if you use my name on this deal.
You heard that laugh, right? Don't use my name. And the entire crowd laughed.
They're laughing because they did.
Well, but it happened later, though. It didn't come out right then.
Right.
So he didn't want his name used. He didn't want to be associated with it because he didn't expect this to have any effect on anything anywhere. And instead, millions of people read it and didn't disagree. But yet again, you can't prove it. There's no actual evidence.
And mind you, Carl Jung was deeply involved with this at the beginning. You know Jung, right?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people like to quote Jung trying to sound existential or something. I don't know. Dorks, if you ask me. Nerd!
In 1956, when they came out with the second edition, 1955 and 56, they came out with the second edition. By that time, the Medical Association, the American Psychiatric Association, had recognized the fact that alcoholism is an illness. And Dr. Silkworth said in the second edition, you can put my name in it now. So for the second and third, you've got Silkworth, but in here you don't. Let's look at what the doctor had to say for just a little bit.
Let's go to Roman numeral page 24.
All right. So, something worth noting. The individual involved in this writing was not instrumental in creating the psychiatric's view of alcohol as an illness. These two things organically occurred independently in different philosophies of medicine and mental health. And I think that carries a little bit more weight than just some random guy going, I think I got it figured out, but I'm not sure. Right? Because it wasn't just him.
Correct. The medical profession and the psychiatric profession were fighting like dogs over this issue.
Oh, yeah. And I would like to extend it a little farther and say, in some cases, alcoholism is 100% a disease. In other cases, alcoholism is a medical treatment for something that's wrong with an individual. They are self-diagnosing without realizing it.
Correct.
In Barnosphere, what's up, bud? I think the link's supposed to be pinned, although we're not sure it actually did get pinned, and it's not in my chat at all.
Darn it. Let me look. Let me try it again. I'll
tell you what, hold on. Instead of doing that, drop the share link backstage, the StreamYard link backstage, and I can copy it and just drop it in both our chats occasionally.
I got you, homie.
But what I'm getting at is, like, the social drinker who accidentally becomes an alcoholic is no better nor worse than the habitual drinker who, binges constantly, but then sobers up for 2 weeks at a time. Those people, in my opinion, are a little more dangerous. That's the type of alcoholic I am. Like, I'll go months and months and months without drinking, but then when I do drink, I'll end up drinking your cooking sherry.
Yeah.
And some people, it's a psychological thing, and some people, it's a physical thing, and some people, it's a stress-related thing, and some people, they can't even tell you why, and chemically, mentally, physically, they're completely healthy, except they can't not drink.
Yeah, mine was both. Go ahead.
My point being, there will never be a pill that will treat everyone. There'll never be a magical thing that just stops you from being an alcoholic. You have to do it. You need help.
You realize LSD was invented to cure alcoholism.
It was invented as an analog for aspirin, but was then pitched directly at alcoholism, because one of the very first tests that was done involved a handful of people that included a handful of people that were alcoholics, and like 15% of them quit drinking for years after a good dose. So it was investigated strongly for treatment of alcoholism for a little while, and then it was tossed as no medical use whatsoever, which I think is a huge miss.
It says it's pinned, but I don't know if I believe it or not. The link.
Right. I got you. StreamYard's being real fucky the past few days. I just dropped the link on my end and hit send, and it never sent, and it just hung out there.
What's up, Barney?
Good to see you, baby.
What's up? How are we?
We're doing lovely. As a former nurse, you got any output thoughts?
We do recover. AA, please like this video, subscribe.
Oh, well.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You could be turned up a little bit. It would help. Or, speak closer.
How's that?
Excellent.
Oh,
excellent.
There you go.
We had patients. It was pretty sad. If we tried to detox them, if it was a real emergency, it was something called CIWA, which is CIWA. I forget what that stands for, but of course it's they can get delirious tremens.
Yes, tremens. The scientific name is delirious tremens.
Been there, done that. Wrote the book, got the T-shirt.
They can have a seizure, which of course is life-threatening. I've never seen them have a seizure. I've seen the DTs. Alcohol is destructive. Alcohol is horrible, and there are two forms of thought in that: it's a weakness, or is it something in you? And I believe it's something in you. I believe it is a disease, because
I agree.
I drink sometimes, and as I get older, I drink way less, and it just makes me tired now. But when I was young, I loved to go out and get drunk. It was fun. I mean, I still do, but we all have problems. I'm just glad my problem is not alcoholism.
Well, that was what I was getting to earlier. Was like, how did you put it? That a failure? No, a weakness, right?
Yeah.
With some people, it is a physical diagnosis subconsciously, and they are treating something in their own brain, and they're unaware of it. They just like to drink. And other people, it's a weakness and a failure of more or less right living. Is what it comes down to. And both of them look exactly the same from outside. You cannot tell the difference until you get into one of these meetings and they start telling you how and why and when and under what circumstances they started drinking. And then you find out it's very different. and you think you've got a bad drinking story, there's a man at this meeting over here who has one that will make your blood curdle. He will tell you a story that'll make your toenails curl.
That's a fact.
I had a patient when I was in Colorado. I was working at Aspen, and it was a silver town. Yeah, it's a ski resort now, but it has history it used to be a silver mining town, so there's history to it. But this one guy was he wasn't a nurse, but he was I don't know why he was in Colorado. I forget what he was doing, but he was one of the guys that, and they don't do this in Aspen, obviously, but when you get a heart transplant, he knew how to run the machine when they cut your heart out. And I'm like, bro, that's hardcore. This dude came to Aspen, and they don't do that in Aspen, so I forget why he was there, but I remember he was a perfusionist, they call it, which I didn't meet many of them because I never worked in a hospital that did heart transplant. But he got so wasted, and luckily he was in Aspen, and he was new in town, or he was a traveling, contractor, and he went into someone's house and fell asleep on the couch that wasn't his. You do that in your own spot. Oh, I mean, you could be done. Someone sees you sleeping on it's scary to walk in your house and see a drunk. You're like, whoa, what is it? But luckily he made it out. But
my wife used to tell me that all the time. I don't know who you brought home. I don't know who you brought home with you, but you need to get rid of him. And it was me.
Oh. I mean,
I've only seen that happen once. I had a guy. He lived like 3 houses down, drinking all the time, freaking hammered. And this is an apartment, and one of those where all the apartments are identical, and the only difference is like a number on a door. Mm-hmm. He shows up one night, drives up on the curb, jams the van in place so that it's not driving off, and passes out sitting behind the wheel. And he's right in front of my apartment. And I went out and reached in, put the car in park, and pulled the keys out. He looks at me and is like, what am I supposed to do? I said, I don't know, man, but there's a couch right over here. And he said, cool. He walks in, crashes out on the couch. I got him a Gatorade, a bottle of water, and set it down next to him, threw him a honey bun and a bag of chips over there, and went to bed with my pistol.
Is that a random drunk person sleeping in your house?
Well, random. I've seen him. Like I said, he's a neighbor. I haven't talked to him. I don't know him, but I've seen him. We've waved at each other on the way to work and shit like that. So he come in, crashed out, and I had to get up and go to work the next morning. I come downstairs, and homeboy is sitting on the couch, absolutely terrified. Like, he is so lost. And I come downstairs, and he's like, Mr. White Man, I'm sorry I got on your couch. I'm not sure how I got here. I was like, well, I need you to go outside and back your van up off the curb before you get a ticket. And then you come back in, and we can have us some breakfast and talk about it if you want to. Or when you get outside and you realize you missed your apartment by 2 doors, you could just go home. And he's like, okay. And he went and parked his van, and he came back and sat down on the couch and talked to me for a little while. And we ended up having us a big old time before I went to work. And basically, he was lamenting everything that had happened the night before. He was like, dude, I was just having a bad day, and I drank a little more than I should have. And I was like, well, it looked to me like you might have drank quite a bit more than you should have, because you was driving when you come in here. And he was like, oh my God, no. Yeah, that's terrible.
That's the one thing about me is I don't drink when I'm pissed off. Once my friend died, I got drunk. But a lot of people are like, oh, I'm pissed off, I need a drink. Usually I just drink when I'm like in a good mood.
Oh, yeah.
I never, I cope with food and video games and just becoming a hermit and all kinds of other non-productive coping habits, but at least they're not as bad as alcohol.
Directly destructive.
It got to the point if I broke a fingernail, that was a 12-pack.
See, I never got down that road. I was more of I'd go on vacation and start drinking, and I might not stop until 3 weeks after I got back. That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Binge drinking. Yep.
I was the type of guy who'd wake up in the morning and take 3 shots of freaking vodka before I went in so that I wouldn't be all fuzzy wuzzies.
That was me.
Know.
The thing I hate about... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I couldn't even hold a cup of coffee in the morning until I took 3 shots off that bottle that was hidden in the freezer, or I thought it was hidden anyway.
I hate vodka because when I was a nurse in Vegas, the most homeless people, they drink vodka. And usually it goes as follows. Let's just start day one. They're homeless and they're an alcoholic and they drink the cheapest vodka available. And they just drink and they beg and they're like pickling themselves, and then they're in the sun and they don't change their clothes. And then they do this for I don't know how many days, and they get just wasted to the point where someone calls an ambulance, and then they bring them to the ER, and they are so wasted, like you have to draw the blood. They can't do the breathalyzer at all because they're just completely plastered. You have to do the blood test, and usually it comes back so high they have to like recalibrate the machine. Anything over 400 is like huge, and these people are hitting like 400 plus, which is like, to be drunk is 0.08, and when I say 400 it's 0.4. So but
well, after when they took me in, it was 14 hours since my last drink, and my BAC was 0.285.
That's still big. But they would, and then you had to like take their clothes off. And you had to get urine just to see if they're on drugs or not. So you got to go in their wiener, and you had to take their shoes off. And they're honestly, they're like, their body is pickled and they're breathing off that vodka. And it just like, that smell is just stuck with me to the point where I just cannot, will not, never want vodka ever again.
Well, vodka was a medicine for me. It wasn't alcohol. It was my medicine.
That's the safe burrito to show on YouTube.
Tacos. Fuck yeah.
Where'd she go? We wanted to see her.
She gone. She brought me some food and left.
Damn. Well, you still lucky man, though.
I got her trained well already.
I missed
video or additional thoughts.
Whichever you want to do, kind sir.
That's XXIV. And I didn't know that when I got sober. He said, the physician who our request gave us this letter has been kind enough to enlarge upon his views in another statement which follows. In this statement, he confirms what we who have suffered alcoholic torture must believe, that the body of the alcoholic is quite as abnormal as his mind. Now, we know there's no must in the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, but there are a lot of musts in this book called Alcoholics Anonymous, and there's one of the first one. We must believe that the body is of the alcoholic is quite as abnormal as the mind.
Now, this is the first time we can find anywhere in written history a reference to the fact that the body is affected as well as the mind. Everything up until this time, they had talked about the mind only. Weak will, moral character, sin, and etc. But here we see a statement that says the body is quite as abnormal as the mind. I think he's telling us two things. That the body is affected also, but I think he's also saying the mind is abnormal when it comes to alcohol. We react to it different physically and also mentally in an abnormal manner. And we'll talk about both of those. The first one we're going to look at is the body.
It said, did not satisfy us to be told that we could not control our drinking just because we were maladjusted to life, that we were in full flight from reality, or were outright mental defectives. Now, these things were true to some extent. In fact, to a considerable extent with some of us.
You betcha.
And that's a very good point. And I hate to beat a dead horse on this one, but this is why single correction isn't going to fix everyone. You can't treat everybody the same because they all have different reasons, different results, different effects. You've got to treat each case individually.
For sure. I will never stand up here and say that Alcoholics Anonymous is the only way to achieve sobriety. Never will I say that.
It's the only way I've been able to.
Sure, and I laud you for that. That's great. I couldn't do it.
And I went to the best freaking rehab in the country.
AA just didn't trigger the right series of brain paths or something. I don't know. What ended up working for me, quite literally, was locking myself in my bedroom and simply not going anywhere or doing anything until a week after I started thinking that I was done with this shit. I've got it kicked. I'm the man. And then I stayed for an extra week because I know better. I'm not an idiot.
Fact. Hell, I tried to not drink myself on my own. And I found myself crawling on the floor because my whole body was convulsing till I went and found the drink that I had stashed.
But shouldn't you taper off?
Well, an interesting point on that. Yes, you should. But the reason I have an addiction is because I have a lack of self-control. And so tapering off is one of those things that requires self-control for you to be able to accomplish it.
Well, once you have a what's the word I'm looking for? A tolerance for so much, it's like,
right. Yes.
I mean, we don't even recommend it when we would have people that weren't like completely a complete risk to themselves. We would give them Librium. We give them one.
Oh, I remember Librium.
They gave me Librium and detox.
Yeah.
I would have seizures if I didn't go to detox. I had seizures. I couldn't, and I had no way of stepping down. My alcoholism was too bad. I couldn't pace myself down.
Well, it's an interesting conundrum. You have a lack of self-control and it makes you feel bad, and you have DTs and you're going through withdrawal, and so you drink a little bit to treat the withdrawal. And that little bit of drinking changes the way your brain works, and you can no longer have as much self-control as you do when you're sober. And so you drink a little bit more, so that you don't have the withdrawal a little later. And then, well, since you're already standing here, you go ahead and drink another one because, I don't want to come back as soon as I'm going to have to come back if I just treat the withdrawal. So now you got a pretty good glow going on, and you might as well just keep drinking because that's where you're at anyway.
Yep.
And the logic just eats itself. It's a Mobius strip of destruction.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's why I get in the argument with people that says willpower alone is enough. Even though my willpower, I could say I'm not drinking today. I'm not drinking today. Come 3:30 in the morning when I'm stumbling through the door, I swore I wasn't drinking today.
Right?
What do you
cunning, baffling, and powerful?
What do you think about people like fatness? Is there any connection?
I believe the connection would be psychological more than a chemical or physical.
Is
connection.
Drinking psychological though, isn't it?
In some people, that's what I was saying. Is some people have a mental problem, and that is why they drink. They drink to cover trauma. They drink to cover experiences. They drink to numb themselves to some thing, some experience. Other people have chemical issues, and somehow through trial and error, they have stumbled into the idea that alcohol treats that thing subconsciously, knowingly or not, and they become alcoholics as a byproduct of trying to self-medicate long term. And neither of these are good responses to either trauma or body chemistry. What's Truth Recovery says, Back when I went to AA, I was an alcoholic and drug addict. I found NA more accepting. Back then, AA was really hard on drug addicts, and going to AA meetings to find help for drug addiction. It can be. Locally,
yes.
We have like 5 meetings now. We have a couple more than we used to. Like when I was going to meetings, there wasn't but 3. But here, there are 2 places where everybody really, really is negative towards drug addicts that show up, because most drug addicts that show up with a court order that they have to go to an AA meeting or something like. Yep. And the only reason they're there is to get you to sign a piece of paper saying they were there.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Right. But here's the thing. If that's the only reason they're there, I'm glad they're there.
They might hear something they need.
They might learn a tool, a technique, a method, an idea, a concept. They might hear a story that hits so true that it actually brings them through the weeds to the other side. And that's why I support AA, not necessarily because it helped me immensely, but because I've seen it help people. I've seen people do this, even if I couldn't.
Yep. the transition when, like you said, when the drug addicts would show up, at first AA was rather tight about that. They'd send them to an NA meeting. But our group, we got to the point that we would accept anybody that was looking for help.
I mean, what goes on in NA meetings, it doesn't go on in AA meetings.
It really it depends on the group. Some groups, I go to meetings every day. I go to sometimes 2 a day, and every meeting is different. There's a different set of people, a different vibe, kind of. And some of the meetings that I go to, like my home group, it's an all men's meeting, and it's strictly alcoholics. You have to you have to claim that you're an alcoholic. You cannot be there if you're not an alcoholic.
It's a closed meeting then. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an invite only meeting.
So the main difference between NA and AA, all of the steps are virtually identical. The language has been altered specifically for narcotics, which is a very broad net in this sense. This isn't just like the medical term narcotic. This is like anything you might have used.
Very broad, yes.
And other than that, it's typically slightly less religious, weirdly enough. I don't know why that is. I haven't ran into a whole lot of spirituality in NA meetings, and it is a hardcore hard belt in most AA meetings that I've been to. I think that might have to do with the age of the people that are hosting and whatnot.
Probably.
They're less religious in general. And even if it's held in a church, it'll be done like whoever's hosting it will come in and like put a sheet over the cross or whatever, because this is a non-religious thing. And it's a strange thing to me, but at the same time, if it works, I got no problem with it.
But that's one of the steps, isn't that the
admitting a higher power? It doesn't necessarily have to be God. It can be coincidence.
The spirit of the universe, the creator,
you call it what you want to
call it. Yes.
No, but I've heard some people complain about that step. Whichever.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. Admitting that there's something greater than oneself does have a self-deprecating effect on a person's ego, but that's one of the steps that alcohol creates, is the self-deprecation of your own ego while using. I hate it when that happens. It tastes like peanut butter.
I don't know what you're talking about. I missed it. Sounds gross.
One of those weird data dumps comes out of my head like that. I don't know.
It made perfect sense.
The purpose of AA is to give you a sort of a guide to living, to clear away the wreckage of your past, and to be just to get even with the universe, just to get right with everything and everything that you've done bad while you were drinking. Basically, it's just to get right with God and everybody. Yeah.
Alcohol is only mentioned twice in this 12 steps.
Yeah, alcohol is just a byproduct of doing the program, or not drinking is a byproduct of doing the program.
Correct. It's about living life on life's terms.
Well, that's one of the reasons that AA actually attracted me in the first place. Now, I was initially court ordered to go, but I had already been taking friends of mine to NA and AA meetings for years. Like I've never, even when I was in the middle of my full blown freaking junkie status, if somebody wanted to go to an AA meeting, I'd be like, get in the car, bitch, we're going. Like, let's do it.
Yep. I
didn't know nothing about it except that I had an uncle that was a hardcore alcoholic. He went through AA and came out clean. And my father was a hardcore alcoholic, went to a single AA meeting, said those men are absolute pussies, and quit drinking on his own at home. So, I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea is the thing.
Oh,
but
that's
if it helps,
fact.
it helps. If it helps, it helps.
And AA, it's really all groups are different across the board. Not all groups are the same. Like you'll find some AA groups that are way more serious about God, and that's all you talk about is God the entire time. And some groups you won't even hear the word God. So it really depends where you go. And I'm lucky where I live on the western slope of Colorado that we have a men's group that's one of the best in the country. Actually, seriously, we have a really good group.
Where do you live in Colorado?
You know where Montrose is at?
Yeah, I used to live in Basalt.
Yeah, I just lived in Delta, which is a smaller town just north of Montrose, but I live in Montrose now.
That's prime elk country. Yeah, no, I know Montrose.
Yeah, my grandpa just bought 72 acres on prime elk country. It's like the 66th. However they split it up into groups, it's the 66th, whatever.
66 region, yeah, that's a dream.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Good for you.
If you mail him American chestnut seeds, will he plant them?
Are you talking to me?
I don't know what that
Whoever has a bunch of fucking acres to put some trees on, bro. These things are
I do.
valuable.
We have a bunch here in Colorado.
I got 7 acres. I'll plant anything.
American chestnuts, bro. In the past year, there's been 100 found that are pre-cut, pre-blight, and these things are functionally extinct. And the only way they're going to survive another century or so is if we get a handful of new blood in the population. Seeds, man.
All right, let's roll that video a little bit.
Were sickened as well. In our belief, any picture of the alcoholic which leaves out this physical factor is incomplete. The doctor's theory that we have an allergy to alcohol interests us. As laymen, our opinions to its soundness may, of course, mean little. But as ex-problem drinkers, we can say this explanation makes good sense. It explains many things for which we cannot otherwise account.
Now, if the purpose of a textbook is to transfer information from the mind of one human being through the written word to the mind of another human being, then it stands to reason the transference of that information is going to be based upon the understanding of the words that are used. If the writer of the book uses a certain word and understands it this way, the reader of the book reads that word and understands it that way, a different understanding, then the information that comes through is going to be garbled and incomplete information. And there seems to be a few key words in the big book that many of us have had difficulty with. And I think the first word we've had a real problem with is this word allergy. You know, most of us when we come here, we assume already we know what an allergy is. I know I did. And I knew if you were allergic to something and you got around it or you ate it or you drank it or something like that, that there would be some physical manifestation or indicator of that allergy. For instance, if you eat strawberries and you're allergic to them, you'll break out in a rash. The rash being the manifestation of that allergy. If you're allergic to milk and you drink it, you'll have a bad case of dysentery. The dysentery being the manifestation of that allergy. If you're allergic to certain plants such as ragweeds and you get around them, your eyes, nose itch, water, and you start sneezing. The itchy, watery eyes, nose, and the sneezing, that's the manifestation of that allergy. So I knew if you were allergic to something, there would be something there that you could see. So they came to me and they said, Charlie, you've got an allergy to alcohol. You'll never be able to safely drink it again. And I said, how in the hell can I be allergic to alcohol? I'm drinking a quart a day. How can you possibly drink that much of something you're allergic to? And I said, besides that, when I drink alcohol, I don't break out in a rash. And I don't have a bad case of dysentery. Once in a while I might, depending on what I'd been drinking, but usually I didn't. Nor did it make my eyes, nose itch, water, and cause me to sneeze. And I said, I don't understand what you're talking about. You need to explain that to me.
So, back before I quit all the dopes and stuff, I wanted to write a book. And I didn't really have a book to write, but I had what I thought was an excellent title. And it had to do with every time I ended up on the coast, there was a cycle that would take place. I end up on one of those islands, and I'll go get me one of them boat drinks. And the next thing I knew, I'd be waking up the next morning with a hangover, or maybe 2 days later with a hangover, upset stomach, and I would go to whatever restaurant was within spitting distance of wherever I happened to wake up and order the same thing. Shrimp and grits. Don't ask me why. Settles my stomach faster than anything else on earth when I'm having one of those bad mornings. And what goes along with the shrimp and grits, of course, an hour later there's the whiskey shits. And that was going to be the name of the fucking book. Shrimp and grits and whiskey shits.
Dysentery, yep.
Something about whiskey ruins me, man. I can't do it. I can sit around and drink rum and I'll be a happy, fuzzy drunk the whole time and I'll go to bed at a reasonable point. But if I ever take a shot of whiskey, it's on like Donkey Kong, and I know it's entirely psychological, but I think it might have something to do with the taste, too. I hate myself when I drink whiskey.
I get violent when I drink whiskey.
Well, I gotta go, guys. But
all right, Barney,
bud.
Thanks for stopping by, bud. Glad you found me.
Don't be so strange or so much of a stranger or something. I don't know.
I'll be back one day.
All right, baby.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
And so dedication will get you part of the way. Intent is the very ground floor. You have to decide at some point that you're going to get sober, you're going to get clean. But at some point in that decision process, you have to decide to mean it.
Exactly.
You can want it all you want, but until with me, it came down to the point where I would rather die than live one more day as the person that I was. That's really what got me through it. Every time, because when I was detoxing, when I was doing that whole thing, I kept a handful of the things that I took with me because I knew there was going to be seizures. I knew there was going to be stuff like that, and that at some point in time I might not be able to deal with it. And if I got to that point, I wanted to be able to treat just enough to stop whatever it was that broke me so I could stay the course.
Yep.
And 3 times in that 3-week period, and all of these happened in the first week. The first time I had a seizure, there was nobody around and it almost killed me. I woke up doing the whole, like, my head was like wedged under the edge of the bed, and like then kicked both my shoes off and stuff. And then I only realized it was a seizure later after thinking on it, like, how did I get there? I see, well, I walked out of the bathroom, and then the next thing I knew, it was like 30 minutes later and I was on the floor.
Yep.
That was all I knew. The second time I had a seizure, I'd actually basically broke down and was going to go get something to drink so I could take one of these damn things. And I was walking down the hallway and just woke up with my Yeah, dude, the lights came on. I was laying on the floor and my wife was freaking out, and she was trying to find something, wanting to know, should she call the ER? Should she get an ambulance? What should she do? And I was like, don't do any of that shit. And she's like, well, what do? I said, take me back to my room. And she helped me back to my bed, and I went in there and I was a little twitchy for a couple hours. The third seizure was the one that almost actually took me completely out. And it wasn't because of how severe it was. It was because I was in a bathroom when it happened and everything was porcelain. It was all tile and porcelain and stainless steel. And I had a split second of warning that something was up, and I don't even know what it was because I got down on my hands and knees and then woke up with like a knock on the side of my head over here from dragging my face across the vent, I think. Right.
That's always a good feeling.
Yeah, it's always great. But once you get past that part, the medically questionable parts are mostly over at that point. The likelihood of you needing things like various medical treatments.
Yeah.
Physically, right? Now, you might need that type of support. I mean, support is something that helps any endeavor, sobriety more than anything else. And this is another thing for somebody who's dealing with someone else who is going through it and they are making the I'm getting clean noises doesn't necessarily mean that they're actually getting clean. They
For sure
may very well be predating on your empathy in order to stay fucked up. Because
I bought many bottles to get a guy through tonight till we could get him into a place the next day.
Right. And it's all of it's our fault. We did it. It's our choices. We brought ourselves to this point. We are responsible for ourselves. And sometimes we can't see it. And you can't be too hard on a person who doesn't see it because it's just that they haven't survived long enough to see it.
To see clearly.
Which means they're not wrong. They're just ignorant. And ignorance can be treated. Ignorance is treated through knowledge, and self-reflection and self-recognition is the treatment for the ignorance of alcoholism.
Yeah, I tested that theory a couple of times. You know, they thought I was okay, and I was until I picked up the next beer, and then we was off to the races again.
Yeah. I didn't have that much problem getting off of smack. The primary issue came in. I had been clean for about 8 months, and I went to the dentist, and they did an x-ray, and they found that I had a really big abscess over here, and the whole conversation came down of how to deal with it. And when they found the abscess, I had gone in and no bullshit had a tooth pulled and went home with no pain meds whatsoever. I just raw dogged that motherfucker because I didn't want to go back down that road. When they called me back in, it was sort of like an emergency, hey, bring your ass up here right now type situation. Like we got, because they did like a whole head x-ray right before I went in and had the basic x-ray. Because the dentist thought there might be something weird going on because he had treated the same problem repeatedly and it had responded to antibiotics but not pain pills. And so anyway, the full whole head x-ray took like a week or two for them to get around to actually reviewing it. And when they did, they were like, you need to bring your ass in here. We got to do something about this.
Yeah,
and they explained it to me. Yeah, they explained it to me. And I was like, so am I going to be able to walk away from this without taking pain meds? And they were like, absolutely not. There's no way. Because the infection had gotten in under my cheek and was dislodging my left eye of the socket, which was why I was walking around with headaches constantly. And part of the reason why I was popping pain pills like M&Ms. Because I had a headache that Tylenol, Advil, and stuff like that just wouldn't touch. It was directly related to like blood pressure because it was in my sinuses and crap. Pushing
against that.
Yep. So I go in. They do another round of x-rays. They shove a needle into my freaking cheek and draw whatever's in there off and go test that. And it's determined that it's a classic abscess, bad tooth. It just happened to line up with one of the nerve things through my head, and it just ran up the nerve. And that's why I walk around with a constant headache. And anytime I bump my head, I have a migraine. all of that. There's no way I'm walking out of this without meds. And so after a conversation back and forth and yada yada, it was determined to go ahead and do the whole upper teeth to deal with this, because apparently there was a couple of them that were significant. I also did a lot of meth in my youth.
Gotcha.
So I decided to get all my teeth pulled. And in the process of doing that, I went through like 2 weeks of pre-op antibiotics and like 6 weeks of post-op antibiotics. And it literally changed the shape of my face because swelling and everything went down. Now I can't read as clear as I used to because my eyes aren't square anymore. They're a little off.
I'll give you one a little off. I got left ones way off.
Yeah.
But they're afraid to do anything to fix it because they're afraid I'll go blind.
Yeah. Well, they weren't touching this. The most annoying part, like, I had a bunch of problems after my teeth got removed and stuff, and they ended up giving me pain meds, but the pain meds they gave me was like 7 days of Demerol followed by 7 days of like Dilaudid, which I thought was like fucking crazy.
Dilaudid is gold.
Dude, it's another kind of thing. But I remember I had been clean at this point for almost a year and a half. And so here I am on my 12th day. What I did when I got home is I took the first Demerol and immediately got sick. Like 10 minutes later, I barfed up cigarette butts I ate under the porch when I was a kid. And the next, I basically did the whole sick bitch thing all afternoon and went to bed early and woke up, ate a big ass breakfast and took a Demerol. And come about 4 hours later, that shit came back up. And so I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm just not going to take them. Well, that shit started hurting.
I bet.
And I've still got bottom teeth in this thing, and I ain't got nothing between my bottom teeth and my top teeth. And you are so subconsciously used to clacking your teeth together without realizing it that I was basically stabbing myself in an open wound repeatedly. It was pretty heinous. And so I would range between I'm not going to take these bastards to, okay, well, I'll just take one. And that, it stayed on the edge of barfing the whole time. And then it's about time I got used to those, they changed it over fucking Dilaudid. I don't even know what the milligrams were on those things, but those things were like instant projectile vomiting. They were terrible.
I remember I was 9 years sober, and my back went out, and I ended up in the hospital. And I'm crying. I mean, I got tears flowing, and I'm screaming for something, and they're giving me Tylenol. And I'm like, this ain't cutting it. This pain is, and they go, open the chart up, and they said, well, it's stamped in big red letters that you're an alcoholic. I said, I don't give a damn what I am. If you don't do something, I'm going to beat somebody's ass. Even though I couldn't have, It was terrible.
Well, pain will make you do things. Make you do crazy stuff. Pain is crazy.
You're welcome, Untrackable.
What's up, Untrackable?
Yes, thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Absolutely, brother.
How far are we into the video?
Probably 12 minutes. 11:15.
That's it? Damn.
Yeah. This is why I say you open the panel after you've covered a certain amount of it, right? Now, we're just getting our sea legs on this, and
yes, sir.
In the future, we'll have it set up so that we'll know how far apart a break should be.
A little more structured, yes.
Yeah. So 1 hour video shouldn't take more than 2 hours to get through, and that's with all commentary.
Well, that's what happens when you put a drunk in charge.
Right. You're not wrong.
And they said, well, you don't need to understand. They said, all you got to know is you can't drink it. Well, today I think I know why they told me that. I don't think they understood it a bit better than I did. And I went from person to person to person to person trying to get somebody to explain this allergy to me. And all they would say is, what difference does it make? Forget the damned allergy. Don't drink and you'll be all right. Keep coming to meetings. Now, if you're an alcoholic like I am, with a keen intellectual alcoholic mind, and you get a question like that dangling out here in front of you, if you don't get the answer to it, sooner or later it's going to drive you out of your mind.
Amen, brother.
And one day, in sheer desperation, I went to a source of information that has never failed me since that time. I went to the dictionary. And I looked up the word allergy, and I found several different definitions of it, the way you do with any word, depending on how you use it. But I think I found the one that fit me exactly. When it said an allergy is an abnormal reaction to any food, beverage, or substance of any kind. And an abnormal reaction. So I began to look back over my drinking history to see where I was abnormal. And to my amazement, I found out I don't know what's normal and what's abnormal.
Bingo.
The only thing I knew about drinking is the way I drank. And the way those people drank who drank with me, and if they didn't drink like I did, we didn't drink together. So to find out what's normal, to see if I'm abnormal,
and some
I have
people
to go to the normal social temperament.
And some people call that social drinking, but there is a difference between alcoholic social drinking and socially drinking.
Yes.
Some people go ahead.
If you're going to have a drink, so shall I.
Some people go to a bar and say they're not alcoholics because they only drink when they're at bars, right? But they go to a bar twice, at the end of every shift.
Yep.
And American culture is such, I would even argue that Western culture is such, that a beer after work is seen as a man's right, to take a drink after work, that they've earned it by the sheer fact that they put in a good day's work. They deserve a drink. They deserve a stop by the bar. I mean, I would prefer a joint and a Hummer, but, to each his own.
That's a fact.
But it's not normal. I mean, if you look at alcoholism in Germany, it's actually a very different thing because the culture around alcohol is quite different.
Yes, I lived there for 6 years. I know what you're talking about.
These people drink, twice as much as we do on any given thing, but at the same time, we do it more consistently. They wake up and don't drink before they go to work, but when they get off work, they'll drink, like fucking gallons of that shit, dude.
Yeah.
And it's normal. It's not alcoholism. That's just living.
Well,
of course.
Yeah, there's the pain that you alleviate by drinking, whether it be, your social inawkwardness or your back or, stuff like that. But then there's the pain that comes with the pain that you created by drinking. And so you drink off the pain and then it becomes forever. You feel me?
I got you.
Yes, sir.
I got you.
Yes, sir.
That's
Absolutely.
the worst one because, you can be socially awkward and it's like, okay, I have to loosen up before I can, talk to people. And it's like, oh, I had such a good time. And then your back hurts the next day at work. And it's like, okay, I did a good day's work and I'm gonna have, a few drinks when I get off of work. And then the next thing you know, you're drinking all night and you can barely walk when you wake up. And it's not even that little twitch in your back that's having you have a hard time waking up. It's the fact that you drank all night. And then it's like, hey, when can I get back to that medicine?
Yes, sir. Sir.
That makes me numb again. But isn't that all medicine? It's like, hey, make me numb again. Just take away. What do I have to do to get back to that numbness so I don't have to think about my intellect to deal with people, and I don't have to feel the pain. And just what do I have to do? And I see, and maybe I'm one of them. You just work through it. It's like I'm gonna suffer all freaking day just to get back to that numbness, so nobody can fuck with me, and my body doesn't hurt, and I can sit in my chair, and everybody's just going. The world just disappears.
Well, this isn't medical advice, but back in the day, NyQuil used to be like 25% alcohol by volume, and all they seen that I was taking cold medicine at work. Not medical advice.
Not at all.
I did the same thing even when I was young and first started drinking. Oh, you had a hard night drinking? Drink NyQuil. Right before you go to work at 4:30 in the freaking morning. And then guess what? It's going to alleviate the symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to be a freaking zombie for 12 hours. And then as soon as you feel good again, you know what you're going to do again? You're going to go tear the city down again. You're going to go
done that.
You're going to go drink again. And
Chuck.
and I did that for 2 years straight as a youngster. And
not a good place to be. I know that.
No, it's not. I'm not the best person to be taking any advice from, but this is what
I disagree.
I make suggestions, not advice.
This is what I did.
Go ahead, Squarch.
It is horrible.
It's him. See, the thing is, when it comes to advice, if somebody comes asking advice, if you have a problem with your marriage and you want advice, do you go to a priest or do you go to a bartender that's been through 5 divorces?
Bartender.
Neither one.
Until you end up fucking the bartender, then it's a problem.
The thing is the priest has never had to deal with that situation, but the bartender might have dealt with exactly your situation. And in his case, only divorce would deal with it, but he may have some sort of enlightenment on the circumstances. But here's the problem with that. No one who asks for advice actually wants advice. They want validation on what they've decided to do.
That makes a lot of sense. And I had a lot of help in going down that road, rather than they didn't take me down the career road. They didn't take me down the take care of yourself road. They said, hey, guess what I'm gonna do tonight road. It was my decision to follow them, but somebody was reaching and the other was just right there for me to ask. And I didn't ask. I took the hand, and I suffered a lot.
I'm glad. But that suffering is what's made you the person you are today. Do you think you are better or worse than you were then?
It depends on how you say better.
I'll accept that answer. I accept that answer.
Because there's better about knowing. Because you don't know what hell is unless you go through it.
No, that's a fact.
But
most of it is self-created that I have found out.
Or if you're living in it. But the possibilities, that's when people talk about words like regret. And I have no regrets, but you know,
I never believe people when they say that. I mean, no disrespect to you at all. Because
no,
I
but
really like your personality. Don't really know you too well, but I like your personality. But how do people say, many people say, I have no regrets at all. I can't imagine, like, even the guy who gets hit and he's missing one of his arms and he adapts to one of his arms and one of his legs. He adapts to a wheelchair, meets somebody new, gets divorced because that's not working out. He's like, I have no regrets because it brought me to where I am today. I call bull on some of this because extremely unfortunate things happen, and it is entirely possible for you to be okay without those unfortunate things. And it is
well,
extremely possible for you to have integrity and morals and bravery without having your leg and your arm missing, or without having been molested, or without having been, having
Even
horrible parents, or without having been, experienced this or that. I think some of our experiences are bullshit, and we would definitely been better without them. But what they do is help us to understand why we are the way we are today in dysfunctional terms. And I think that's something that addicts and alcoholics have in common with just about everybody. It's an existential thing. There are certain elementary things, in my opinion, that people need. You got the safety, the food, the love, the basic cheesy things. And I'm calling them cheesy because it sounds like a Hallmark card. But when one of those important things is missing, no matter whether you're addicted to drugs or you're seeking drugs or not, your behavior can completely, I don't know, make a fool out of you. You can be impetuous. You're vulnerable to drinking. You're vulnerable to doing things impetuously that you wouldn't have normally done otherwise in order to try to fill up these things that are missing. That is one thing that helps me forgive my judgments towards alcoholics and drug addicts, because I think I could point the finger at myself just as much as I point the finger at them. That's one thing I'm working on too, because my father's dead now, and he died from alcoholism, as many of you know. Don't need to get into it, but I'm still trying to understand it and trying to understand my reaction to it and my automatic judgment for people who are alcoholics or drug addicts, or any kind of judgment towards somebody that you would say, hey, they're an asshole, or they have this disease or whatever, so I don't want to talk to them, blah, blah, blah. I'm starting to be able to embrace alcoholics.
That's real good to know, darling.
There's something that I was talking to somebody last night about hopping fences. And some people say, hey, this beach is closed, or you gotta pay to be here, or something like that. And it's like, I'm going to the ocean with a board of foam, and you can't trespass me from the ocean. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, maybe I crossed your property and I hopped your fence, and I made it to the water. Once I'm in the water, like, what am I doing so wrong? I'm not robbing you. I'm not destroying your property. I just want to get to the water. But somebody wouldn't argue, well, there's a law and the beach is closed, or you have to pay to be here, or something like that.
You did trespass along the way in your drinking, if you want to use the water analogy, to get to that lake or ocean or body of water that you're talking about. You said you're not hurting anybody. I think that's a mistake. I think you're hurting the people that love you and watch you suffer and watch you die slowly.
I I think you're missing the purpose. Is that my purpose, what I created for myself, not the one you created for me, not the one the law created for me, said, we're going in the water in the middle of the night. And if I did so without destroying your property, yes, I crossed your property. Oh, I can apologize for that. But maybe my purpose of, humanity was bigger than your property's purpose of just taking up so much space and restricting me from. So once I get there, what did I do that was so wrong?
If you're using the analogy of crossing property as getting to the alcohol, she's correct. She's absolutely correct. You took it upon yourself to go a place across other people's possessions, their lives, whatever it is they're doing. None of that stuff is any of your business, but you didn't care about that. You just plowed straight through it to get to the bar.
Yep.
Well, this was literally a conversation about going to the ocean and climbing fences.
Yes, I know, but how does this pertain to alcoholism?
Yeah, for a drink, I would do all that back in the day. Hell, I kicked the man out of his house and took his family over while still being married at the time.
No, that's some fucking boss tier gangster shit, dude.
So you'd say, how does this pertain to alcoholism? It's like there's not a problem until there's a problem, right?
And who's to say what the problem is?
Well, a car crash, hit a pedestrian.
Wait. You're going very extreme. Problems start long before you have the accident.
Yep.
Right? The problem started back when you were sitting at the bar and you had that thought, or you were drinking with your friends and you had that thought that, damn, I wish I hadn't drank so much. And then you drink some more anyway. That's when the problem was.
But you can't look at a problem without, causation. So was my drinking the problem or the timing?
What do you think?
Got to turn that marijuana plant on.
What do you think? Do you think it was the timing or the drinking?
Well, because it could have been the phone. It could have been any distraction.
Well, it could have been, but in this case, it being drinking, it was a particular distraction that distracts us from everything.
Who's eating a microphone?
I'm not trying to make excuses.
I got you. I'm just trying to keep it on point, and who just popped up? What's this dude's name?
Upstate Auditor.
Welcome, there, brother. Right. I just can't. I can't, dude. I deal with so many people daily.
Felt very compelled. I stopped drinking, like 25, 30 years ago. Well, about 24, 3 years ago. I never looked back, but I didn't like it all that much. But I also quit 32 out of 35 prescription pills prescribed by the VA for all kinds of things. And I just wanted to say, if anybody wants to quit drinking, they have to want to. They have to say, hey man, same for me. Even if you like it, I have friends, by saying just what I did, quit drinking the very next day. And they've been off and on ever since. But I chose weed because weed is what took the place of those 32 out of 35 pills. And
Can I ask you a question?
more volumes, no more retarded dreams at night, no more bullshit, no more waking up sick, no more nothing like that. And I'm feeling my best life. I'm 60 years old and I feel like a kid.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
Upstate.
How does the translation from well not just the translation from substance to substance, but how does the translation in relationships go when you stop drinking? Because
I quit
I'm
going
having
to
a
bars. I quit.
I'm having a tough time with that one.
I quit going to bars. Everybody around me knows I don't drink, so they don't try and push it. Look, I'm going to show you something, and I've had this for almost a year.
This YouTube, sir, is ain't OnlyFans.
I got this from my old lady's general manager. He gave me this, knowing that I wouldn't drink it. It's just a shelf decoration. That's all it is. I have some moonshine in there too that I've had for about 5 years. And I'll tell you what, I do not miss it. I don't miss for me it felt like I was Kitty Wampus, and with all the pills that I was taking, I was really destined for death. And I did not want to go out like that. And that's
bingo.
what
Right there. That right there is what he was looking for. You decided, you made the decision, just like I did, that I would rather die today than live one more day as the person that you were.
That's right.
I feel like sometimes I'm too much as me.
Untrackable, you are who you are, and you can't change who you are. You can change the way you see things, and you can change the way you act, but you are who you are. You can't change that.
So I would like to call you back to the there's two methods that I used, and one of which is hugely important. It's the Popeye method. I am's what I am's, and that's all that I am's.
That's right.
And then you have the Yoda method. There is no try. Do.
No.
You can't try to get clean. You either are or you are not. Now, I'm not saying failure is permanent. I'm just saying failure is not you getting clean. Failure is you learning the steps to get clean. You don't initially succeed, and if you do, it's probably not going to stick long term. It takes that failure for you to build the understanding that you don't have the level of control you would like to have in your life, that you don't have the ability to call all the shots. I think Untrackable was asking more specifically about relationships. If you're dealing with people who drink, you may have to sever those ties at least for a while, until you can get yourself and your emotions and your situation under control. But you would have to do that in virtually any situation that disrupts your life.
Yeah.
I saw something.
Believe it doing to others, you would have them doing to you. If I'm going to get up here and say, "Hey, man, I quit," there's no I'm going to try, or I think I ought to, or anything else like that. Dude, I quit and stayed because, like I said, I didn't enjoy it anyways. You know, I was a social drinker, and I got drunk because everybody else did.
You were alcohol abuser, is what you were.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not one of those that you puke on the floor and you suck it back up because you don't want to waste the alcohol. I ain't that bad. I wasn't that bad. But I know plenty of my friends that died just like that. And I didn't want to I said, fuck
my
that.
my last 5 years, I never drew a sober breath.
I once pissed in my mama's cactus in front of her.
As long as you didn't fall in it.
I didn't realize I'd done it until the next day. I had no fucking clue. She tells me about this. And dude, like, I've done a bunch of really skeezy, horrible things. Terrible, terrible things because of my addictions and my alcoholism. I'm not blaming it on them. It was me that did those things. And I don't really ask for forgiveness on most of it because I am an asshole. I mean, that is my natural cut cloth. That being said, it was wrong. I know it was wrong. I admit it was wrong.
You have ADD.
I
That
have
too.
Attention deficit disorder.
Did
That
you
too.
kill a cactus or did it live?
I'm excellent with plants. She made me listen. This was a cactus collection about the size of a 55-gallon drum around and about 5 inches deep, and I had to take every single one of them cactus out of that collection, swap out all the dirt, and replace it all with new dirt, the whole thing, and I had to do it the next morning. So it was it was especially
Doing that with a hangover.
oh baby. Let's just say piss was not the only thing that ended up on them cactus before it was all said and done. It was a very raucous morning. She come in there, I probably come home at like fucking 4 a.m. She woke me up at 7. So you're a farmer today, son. I said, what do you mean? She's like, you're transplanting plants.
What I do?
That's why JJ says, or AJOD says, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I mean, you know, she knows me.
Well, I see to my personal issue is, and it's my issue, is that.
But are you having a problem with alcohol?
When
Listen, would you do to somebody else what you would do to yourself, or would you do to yourself that you would do to somebody else?
Hey, Jot, good to see you down there.
Because I see good in you. I don't know you from Dick, but I mean, I'm just saying, dude.
Well, I know my
I see
dick.
that you're a good person. You want something, so you come up here and you say, "Hey, man, this is where I'm at, and this is what I want to do." But if you gotta compare the two, you know, have somebody come over with a bottle, or you go over with a bottle, or you want to quit, just like that person over there just quit.
I would love to be 100%.
You can be.
And I'm not here to call anybody an alcoholic or an addict. That's your own decision to make. I'm not here to point fingers.
Actually, if you're going to call someone an alcoholic or an addict, I would insist that you call me an alcoholic and an addict, because that takes the burden off everyone else, and I don't care.
Okay.
Yes. I will say I am an addict, but if I was at 100% and I felt in some sort of way slighted, that like I'm doing my best for you and you refuse it, but I still have to be here because you are my goal. Your success is my goal, and you refuse, you know, me, you know, marriage, raising a child.
Are you hitting on me, sir? It's working.
Then it's like, okay. Well, there's only one way else I can go with this, and that is to leave. And then I'm not with you anymore, and that is against my goal. But at the same time,
all are welcome here.
You turn to the substance, and all of a sudden, you're really not there anymore. So I'm here, but I'm not here.
No, you're faded.
Sasquatch, can you hold it for about 3 to 5? I gotta go get my son's medicine. All right, I'll be right back.
You, bud. I got no control over this madhouse, but I can talk to you two for 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna have to rectify that.
You're good, bro. You're good. I was joking. It's a joke. Go ahead. Go do your thing. Take care of your family. That's another thing. The damage done to your family from this stuff is incalculable. There is no way to mitigate that. It can become easier once your children are older and understand what it is and why you act the way you do when you're doing those things. It never completely removes the harm. Truly. What's up, Belt Luke? Welcome in, brother. Good to see you. YouTube Police 29, same man. American drinking culture, from what I've seen, is very all or nothing. And okay, so there's two. There are actually two drinking cultures in America. There's the college drinking culture or the weekend warrior drinking culture. And then there's the blue collar working man, white collar drinking culture, which sort of overlap each other a little bit, but aren't exactly the same. They could be divided, but we're not going to do that. The college environment is to excess in all things, right? It's almost entirely binge drinking, and it folds into daily drinking as a byproduct of just constantly doing the same thing with the same people. The workplace has a similar effect on people, but I think a large part of it has to do with that cultural idea that after a man does a long day of work, a cold beer is just the thing to settle him down. And I think that's a terrible thing. That's a horrible thing. I don't like beer, so beer was never a thing. I have drank beer. I don't think I've ever gotten drunk enough to be a problem on beer. I'd barf before I got there. I couldn't do it.
I have. That and tequila was my downfall.
With me, it's if I had to give one, I'd say rum. I drank anything that was alcohol up until I discovered non-spiced rum. I didn't even know it was a thing. I thought rum tasted like fucking licorice and pepper, and that all rum was like that. And then one day I took a shot of rum. Somebody misheard me order at the bar. I ordered Captain Morgan's. They gave me a Bacardi Gold. And I was like, bam, what the hell was that? Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted Captain Morgan's. My bad. No. What was this? What is this? Why did I not know this existed? Can I have more of this? What was this? They're like, Bacardi Gold. And I was like, more now. And from that day forward, pretty much, if I'm going to get drunk and I have control over what I'm drinking, it's going to be Bacardi Gold. I won't touch nothing else. There is none higher because it's just sugar.
You know what made me quit?
What it was?
I mean, the drink that actually defined the thinking in my brain and made me quit. Bacardi 151. That shit'll start your truck, dude. I was so sick for 2 days. I slept for a whole day and that night and woke up the next morning.
Yes, sir. Bacardi 151 is good for two things. It's good for two things, sir. Degreasing engine blocks and killing brain cells. You pick.
Yeah, it'll damn sure do that with a quickness. I drink half of, I want to say a pint
At
don't know.
at
It might be half
151
pint.
proof, how much do you weigh?
At that time I weighed 143.
At about 140, half a pint of 151 is like a whole
I had
pint
half
of.
of that. So I had about a half a pint. I drank it all at once, straight.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is what I drink is half that proof.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
It's that stuff will take the inside of your stomach lining off. Don't drink 151 straight, kids. It was never intended for it. The most diabolical alcoholic I ever knew, who shall remain nameless, we shall call him Tom. Tom always smelled like peppermint. And Tom was never late for work. He was also never late for lunch. And Tom was about the most scraggly old black guy you ever met. He was at work on time, doing something, although I can't tell you how productive he was because I never actually saw him do anything productive. Great help. If you're doing it and he's helping, he's great help. But as far as like deciding to do anything, useless. I tried to quit smoking, and one of the ways I did is I took like a 2-pound bag of peppermints and put it in my book bag. And I was walking around sucking on peppermints. And about 3 days after I started that, I get pulled into the office because, oh, you must be drinking. You're the one that's drinking the peppermint schnapps. And I was like, no, I got a bag full of peppermints in my bag. And they're like, but you're also drinking peppermint schnapps. I said, dude, I'm sober as a judge up here. That's, I mean, you want to give me a breathalyzer or something, you want to take me to the hospital, get a blood test, whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't care. I'm down like Charlie Brown. That's just time away from work. I'm not drinking. And they were like, well, somebody's been in the plant drinking peppermint schnapps. And I was like, oh, I get it. You smelled peppermint, assumed it was me. Right. I guess that makes sense because they had been finding the bottles, empty bottles all over the fucking place, apparently. This dude had been coming in and clearing about 2 pints of peppermint schnapps a night. And he'd been doing it for about 8 months before I showed up with my bag of peppermints and everybody smelled super strong peppermint everywhere. And they looked for the bottles. They were so convinced that I was drinking that they wouldn't look for. This dude realizes what's going on, uses his sick leave, his vacation time, and a handful of personal days he had, all in a row for like 2 weeks. They come through, clear out all the freaking bottles. They come through again a week later and find a handful more, and they try to bring me in and like write me up. And I'm like, no, this isn't happening, because you're either going to have to perform a test on me to prove that I'm drinking, or you're going to have to shut up and stop messing with me. Because I don't know where those bottles are coming from, and I can't help that. Like, that's not my fault. I'm trying to quit smoking. I'm not drinking. But one thing I did do is immediately after that first time I was brought in, I went and got Starlight mints, spearmint mints, right? So the next time they come and brought me in was like, well, you're the one that smells like peppermint. No, I don't. That's Starlight mint. That's totally different. You specifically said it's peppermint schnapps. I don't drink. And I also didn't bring peppermint, so why am I in here? These are spearmints. They're totally different.
Instead of the little red ones.
Well, peppermint's red, the spearmints are green, and I love spearmint.
My thing was atomic fireballs.
Dude, I'm allergic to red. Fuck those things. I've got a red, you name it, red allergy. Whatever red you got, I'm allergic to it. And those atomic fireballs don't just make my lips burn; they actually burn my lips. Like it's an allergy thing. I'll look like fucking Kim Kardashian over here with her fish mouth going on. I ain't even joking. I'll turn my mouth inside out, look like a hemorrhoid.
When she first did that, I didn't know who in the fuck they were, and I seen her on TV, and I was like, "Is that the chick we just seen yesterday?" And my girlfriend at the time said, "Yeah, it's Kim Kardashian." I said, "What the fuck to her lips?" That was funny, man. It was right after she got her injections. I'll never forget that, man. It looked like somebody punched her in the mouth. It didn't bust her lip, just swelled them up good. Poor lady.
All right, so we are at the 2-hour mark. Chuck, have you gotten $1 weight? People give a Chuck buddy. That's just a travesty.
They don't like me.
No, I think what it is we haven't actually put together a show out of this. That'll happen as a matter of course.
Yeah, I was trying to send you the key, but
we'll explain that when we end. It'll be fine.
All right.
We're not ending right now. But 2 hours is a pretty good block for some kind of meeting of any description. So I would suggest, and Chuck, of course, it's your call. The AA portion is over for the meeting.
Sounds good.
For the moment. And it is now your travesty of drama bullshit on the forward.
To a point.
I've even got a little transition for us. If you can make me big screen, I think it'll work.
Give me a second. Wrong button, naturally.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you got to push the wrong button at least 3 times before you get the right one, or else the world will fall apart.
The red button.
Never the red button.
Come on, retarded.
What are the humans doing?
Thank you. Let the drama begin.
How cute.
Lindsay, she said that he said that he was a moron.
Lindsay, I have to give it to you. I can text it to you because YouTube and Cash App changed my payment information and substituted my real name in there. And I don't know why.
I don't even care anymore, dude. When it comes to mine, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
I heard that.
When I first started my channel, in the process of building the Caucasian Sasquatch brand concept, because when I first started it, I intended it for it to be a first try, right? I never expected anybody to give a flying freaking fuck about anything that I ever did. At no point in time did I expect I'd have 5,000 subscribers over here having a conversation with people. It just wasn't in the plan. And so when it happened, I didn't have a plan for that part. And all of it started with the very beginning of that video that you just saw, where what are the humans doing? That is a series of shorts that I did called Odin Sees. And basically I go find 3 people in TikTok that are hurting themselves. And that was the thing. Do what?
That's always funny.
Right? Yeah. Well,
I mean, come on now.
What happened is I did a bunch of these, but the 5th one I did got like 140,000 views, and I picked up almost 1,000 subs overnight. Like, dude, it was crazy, bro. I had all my notifications on and everything, and I plugged my phone up. I got real shit-faced drunk, and I plugged my phone up before bed and set it down on the nightstand and went to sleep. And what woke me up was the phone falling on the floor. And I leaned over and picked it up, and the damn thing was off. And I was like, that's weird. And I hit the button, turned it on, and realized that the reason it was off was because it had sat there and notified me of comments on YouTube until it died. like all night until it died. And then when it did that final power off, it fell down on the fucking floor and woke me up. I woke up and looked. I had like some absurd amount of fucking views on that one video, and a bunch of other views from other videos too. So like it was almost 200,000 views on that one day from the videos that I'd done, and I only had like 12 or 14 videos up at the time. I hadn't done much at all. I hadn't even set up my live streaming thing. I didn't even have a microphone. I was doing all of it just straight off the phone at the time, but I had bought everything to do it with. I went on vacation, killed all of my old troll accounts. Started Caucasian Sasquatch, went through, got the Facebook, the fucking Instagram, all of the things, right? And uploaded a couple of jokes from the beach because I was on vacation. I filmed this. This was the very first thing I ever filmed for my channel. And it was done the weekend that I started my channel. And my wife filmed it. Where's it at?
You doing somersaults?
Oh no, the name of the channel is Caucasian Sasquatch, right? So it seems like you should have a Sasquatch sighting on film for that.
Aye.
Right?
I see, said the blind man.
I swatted myself once with my own cell phone.
You go, girl. That takes special idiocy.
These new phones, the power button has a built-in SOS thing attached to it. And I had the phone in my pocket, and it touched the power button, 3 times or 5 times, whatever the case was. Next thing I know, I'm out cutting the grass, minding my own business, and here come every cop in the county because they got an SOS from my phone. They're the ones that told me about it. I didn't know nothing about it. Technology ain't always what it's cracked up to be.
Technology is exactly what you make of it, Chuck.
I heard that.
If you cared enough, you'd dig deep enough to get there. Right?
Well, I grew up with this technology. That's what I did for a living. When I retired, I just totally forgot, just turned my back on it, didn't keep up like a dumbass.
Huh.
Dude, all this shit's new to me. And they say a computer is only as good as the one that built it.
There. That's what it just wasn't working. But it's a Sasquatch sighting, right?
That's badass.
So what I did was I got my wife to film it, send it to me, and I walked out, went under the water until there was no sign that I was in the water, and I just walked out. And then I went into an editor and did the monster type, crappy old grainy footage type shit, and giggled maniacally the whole time. I swear I laughed till I cried.
Seaweed hanging off of you.
Dude, fuck that. I thought about it. I did think about it. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I certainly thought about it, but at the same time, fuck that, dude. There's crawlies in those seaweed. Crustaceans. Yeah, what up, Sam? Yeah, I know you miss ocean seas, but the problem with that one,
Pacific Ocean,
is if
go ahead.
Is if you show enough people getting hurt, they decide that's what your channel's about, and your restrictions start tightening in, and they changed the algorithm of my channel enough that I don't see those kinds of things from YouTube at all. Like, you know the stupid videos that you see all the time where somebody runs up and kicks somebody else in the balls and run away? I never see those. They're not in my algorithm. That's part of what I used to make the Odin Seas thing, and it was after huge success in shorts that I stopped seeing those types of things. And so my reactionary type content that came later was a byproduct of that change in the algorithm, of me not finding the stuff. Also, occasionally TikTok will take down a video that has some of their content in it, and it's done by TikTok through YouTube, and there is no appealing that bullshit. And if you appeal it, you might end up with a strike.
Really?
One of my favorite series was What Level of Florida Man Is This? Where I'd show somebody doing something absolutely freaking absurd and be like, what level of Florida is that? And one of them that I showed were two guys in a boat, and when the guy pops out the phone and he's filming the guy at the front of the boat, and homeboy's just laid out in the sun with a fishing pole next to him, and he's got 2 beers in his laps, and the guy holding the phone says, there's one right there. He says, oh, cool. Turns over, reaches his hand in the water and hooks his finger under the chin of a crocodile, alligator, and lifts him up out of the water. The alligator pops his mouth open. He spikes one of the beers and tosses it to the driver, grabs the other one, spikes the other one, and lets go of him and pushes the alligator back under the water, shotguns the beer. And they said I was promoting cruelty to animals.
Wow, really?
The only animals harmed in that video were 2 crazy bastards from Florida.
Yeah. Well, we are animals, I guess, so.
That was a strike. So the next strike I got was just as feckin' absurd. I come across a short that had a bunch of different horse videos in it, and it was different horses jumping, running, slipping, falling, doing other stuff. And in the middle of this video, there is a guy giving a horse medicine, but the horse didn't want to take the medicine. And when he mixes all the stuff out on the little trough thing that he's going to feed the horse rams his head into the trough and flicks all of the powder out, right? And for all the fucking world, it looks like that horse does a whole trough full of powder and a line, like, poof. And then the next scene in that short was one of those Indian, what are they called, rickshaw races, where they got the little bitty stupid fast horses and they don't have legal restrictions on doping and stuff. And there was a horse that was obviously jacked up on something running around the track, and they had it sped up just a little bit to make it even more absurd, right? And it's pretty funny. And so I reacted to it and was like, that's what they call that powdered turbo. And they struck it. Promotion of cruelty to animals. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That shit got struck, and I got banned for a week because that was my second strike. And so I stopped doing that general type of cutting edge humor content and started developing this concept that I have called weaponized humor.
You know, there are some pretty good, like the when they drop that deal down in the tube and it launches out, they got some good ones of those. And what is it? The tank, they got stuck. The other one tried to get it out, and they both got stuck straight down like this. I mean, that's what I think of.
I swear, it's like you're trying to communicate with me, but you're just so damn cute.
Ew. Yeah, the first time I did a restream of Flow State, didn't think nothing about it. Next morning, I wake up and I got a message from YouTube. From here on out, we are tagging your channel as 18 plus, and also there's some violations in the video that you streamed. Copyright.
Right. Okay. So there's a difference, a huge difference between a copyright claim and a copyright strike.
Right. It was a claim.
Right. You can get all the claims on earth, and the worst that happens is you get like blocked in Russia or Thailand or some shit. Right. A bajillion claims. What that has to do with is how monetizable your channel is, because they don't want you to use copyrighted material because they can't monetize it either at that point. Right. Some creators choose to use certain copyright materials so that any payments that do come from YouTube don't go to YouTube, but go to the copyright owner. So I've got this one creator whose name is Backwards Internet. He did a handful of like British raps a few years ago, back when I started my channel. When I first started my channel, I was a regular in his chats. I was a moderator on a couple of them. And when I first started my channel, I asked him, I was like, do you mind if I use some of your music to do what I'm going to do? And he's like, nah, go ahead. I don't give a shit. None of it's copyrighted, so, you know, I can't come at you for it or anything. He's like, I may copyright it in the future, but, you know, till I do, fucking feel free. And so what I would do is I used his music just absolutely shamelessly, like all of it.
Like we do with Mug's Money over on Devo's Weed Chronicles.
Right. But what it was is I had a vision of a show that I wanted to do, and that show isn't anything that I actually do today, but is a combination of all the things that I do for the different creators I work with, everybody from Chuck to Dusty, Ajot. You know, there's a few that I'm not at liberty to mention that I'm backstage on, but I don't really do a lot anywhere. It's more of a being present and capable of taking some responsibility for what's going on, basically, you know.
Dude, you can use Mug's Money's stuff too. He's the one that made our intro.
What I was getting at is this. I used his music until he copyrighted. Once he sold the rights or whatever. Well, it wasn't him. He didn't even really think about the fact that people were using his music. He just got an offer for basically publishing his music, and he accepted the offer. And it's made him a living wage. It's actually doing pretty good. It's not doing good on YouTube, but in general, people seem to dig it, and that's cool. I got no hate for the man. He's doing his thing. That's fine. But I exchanged that, and I had interviewed 007, Richie. And Richie's a musician. He randomly pops out a song every now and then. And the weirdest thing happened. He did a song called Conspiracy Music. And I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I ended up with the copyright for this tune. And it was really weird.
Was it the tune or the title?
The tune.
Okay.
He I can't remember if he came on and played it on my channel and then lost the channel that it had been originally played on. But I ended up with the original upload of that music. And the way I found out about it is because it was the only copy, he played it, and YouTube copyright claimed him on my behalf for a song that he wrote, he produced, and he sent to me.
You know what? Devo got he got a copyright strike for 2 weeks or something like that on his own music.
Yeah.
Playing it on Devo's Weed Chronicles.
There's a channel. Hold on. There's a channel called Disturbing.
He wrote, you know.
Yeah.
The ones that we were playing, he wrote.
All of that's mechanical. That has no people in it. There's no people there. There's a channel called Disturbing that does like old cases or strange and unusual psychological cases and stuff where he reads over all the stuff and tells you what happened.
It's copyrighted music, dude.
He's dealing with a situation right now where somehow all of his accounts are being labeled as copies, not the original.
Really?
And he's being demonetized and basically unpersoned almost systematically. I don't know why. I don't know who's doing it. I have no idea why this would even be a thing to do. He seems to be such a nice dude, as far as I could tell. He's kind of like Mr. Ballin. He just tells stories.
There's 2 or 3 people.
Like the last one in his band, Alive. All the everybody else is dead.
There was 2 or 3 people the other day told me that they were getting ads when they tried to watch my stuff. And I went and checked, and I got all that turned off. So apparently YouTube's running ad revenue on their own.
Yeah, they are. They do that off and on. They reserve the right to alter the terms of your contract at any point.
Yes, they do. Private platform. Got it.
One of the things that I want to stress to everybody out there is while you might be a First Amendment advocate, YouTube is not a First Amendment platform.
No,
there's nothing I can do about that. So you gotta temper what you're saying, man. You have to.
That's why we run on X and Rumble too, man.
Yeah, if you don't copy your show to something else and they take your channel, that's their material. All of a sudden,
it's their material either way. You're basically allowing YouTube to function as manager by proxy.
Yeah,
more of a manager pro tem. You're supposed to be your own manager, but you're basically abdicating management and selection.
I like the by proxy one.
Yeah.
that sounds more like it.
Well, every piece of software, your end user agreement, EUA, has that in it.
Do you see anything happening backstage at all? Can you see my little window down there?
Yes, I see you.
Do you see that fucking madness that's happening over there on the tomato? Currently it is Hormaxer and
Ben Thorpe.
Ben Thorpe are flexing at each other, and I don't want to see any more of it.
What the hell?
Well, you know how Hormaxer flexes. Yeah, that's creepy.
Probably. Yes, Michael. He probably does have a camera slapped to his slung. That's Hormaxer. If you don't know who that is, dude.
Ooh.
That's some deep YouTube lore. It's like, honest to God, a Hormaxer sighting is kind of like seeing Sasquatch in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's rare, and you're never quite sure what you just saw.
Yes.
Well, at one time, Ben was trying to get Hormaxer to do a regular show with Grace.
Well, yeah. I think he's gay.
Oh, he said he'll fucking dude or woman. He doesn't care.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think, have you ever seen how he interacts with women?
Yes. Yes.
Does that seem like the kind of thing that would be successful in any setting?
No, he's got a thing for men. I will give you that.
However, there are certain settings with certain men where that type of activity is exactly what it takes to get the ball rolling, as it were.
I tried to go ahead. Try to watch that guy will give you a massive migraine.
See, that's why I quit trolling and quit doing all that. It's just fucking dude. It got on me. I mean, I didn't really troll that much, but when I did, I gave it kind of an effort, But yeah, you gotta have
how much do you want to know about my trolling?
I know some.
I already know.
You know a little bit. I don't know how much he knows.
No,
so back before I started my channel,
into it.
I was running my own private troll network of profiles. I had around 156 of them.
God dang.
And what I would do, my general MO is I would find a channel, and it wasn't willy-nilly and it wasn't at random. It was people that were doing unsavory things and fooling people. It was scam channels. I might have at that point in time come in on Flow State and had the same opinion, except the thing about that is he's so blatantly upfront with everything he's doing. I don't think I would have had that response. But it's people who are getting money from their chat for things that they're doing, like specifically.
You know who that is?
I'm not at liberty to confirm nor deny.
Well, I know him pretty well. Not really well, and I found out a little bit more through somebody else. about it.
That's
because-
well and good. That conversation
That-
should happen at a different time.
No.
We're-
But what I'm saying is, I grew up in that era.
So when you roll in on a chat that has 10 or 20 viewers and you come in as 10, suddenly it appears that they have 30.
Yeah.
And then you come in the next week with an extra 10 and now they have 40 and then they have 50 and you're burning 2-3 phones up at a time trying to talk to yourself back and forth. And eventually one of these fucking 20, 30, 40, however many profiles it took me to do it, come in and say enough or just the right thing with just the right way, and you mod me.
Yes.
From that day forward, your chat is suddenly totally different. And back then, it didn't tell you who did what. People just had moderator status, were basically gods amongst the freaking chat.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Might
remember
as well
that.
have made him a god mod.
Basically, because you could block somebody, you could time them out, and it didn't tell anybody who did it. The channel
they
owner
would
didn't know what
disappear.
you did. It just happened. And
Yeah.
from that day forth, I would continue bringing in profiles and increasing your viewer count until I had removed all of the actual people, because I knew, because I was the one flooding. And once that happened, I would start removing profile accounts and reduce your subscriber count and your viewer count back down to 0, so that you got this big boost feeling like you're doing something with 50, 60 people. And then there's literally fucking one person here, and it's me. It's your mod. It's your best mod. It's the mod that's been managing all of this madness the whole time. And we're old friends now.
Yeah.
Totally smoke a channel from fucking orbit. They take it down themselves, and they do something different with their life, which is all I wanted in the first place, for them to stop scamming. Specifically, I knew this one guy who was saying that he was feeding the homeless, but really what he was doing was having like a party at his house every weekend where everybody dressed up as homeless people and came and ate burgers and shit. And sure, there were probably a couple of homeless family members involved, but that's not what he was doing. He was collecting donations to feed the homeless and then having a party off of the proceeds, is what he was doing.
There's 3 times where I've gone out and did things. Like when I feel this jar right here of roaches has nothing but hash in it too. I mean, and I'm gonna roll it up.
Wait, what the fuck, dude? No.
This right here is foot-long papers. I'm gonna hook a bunch of these up, roll one big old J, and go down and smoke it with.
Oh, I got news for you. Cheech and Chong was back in the 80s.
I know, but dude, that's what I smoke is fatties. My J's are about 7 to 10 grams continuously.
You're out of my ballpark.
Yeah, no, he doesn't care at all, dude. He has no shits to give about weed. This started as an anti-drug, anti-drinking stream. This is his channel we're on.
Oh
right?
shit, Chuck. I'm sorry.
You're okay. You're okay.
No, I mean it's not that it's verboten. It's legal in a lot of places. So, you know,
Recreational here in New York.
sure. And so it's not off topic exactly. It's just not the proper messaging.
Oh man, I shouldn't had that up or that or any of this up here.
You are
Yeah, that's all
fine.
bad. I'm sorry,
You're fine. Just hear me out. The idea of doing pot instead of hard drugs, I'm down behind. Right? Now, other people disagree. They count pot as a hard drug. Personally, I think dabs are a hard drug. If you've never done a dab, go do a dab, and you'll think the same way I do. That first one to be the teacher.
You're not the only one that has said that, Scorch.
The hardest thing I do is hash, and I put it in with weed.
Bro, I was a hardcore daily smoker for a while there, like, and we fell in with these dudes who were coming back with like wax and freaking different vape stuff. And this is back before anybody knew what a fucking vape was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was sitting
The
around.
original one. The original one was called. Oh shit! My mind went blank.
I'm sitting around over at Homeboy's fucking place, and he comes in and goes, "You ever heard of wax?" And I'm like, "Nah." He's like, "You're freaking to be fucking amazed." And I was like, okay. And then he proceeded to prepare a drug. Now, I've seen people smoke and do drugs, and I know what it looks like. And that's exactly what a dab looks like. It looks like you're doing drugs.
Not that I wouldn't know what black tar or blonde Lebanese is.
I have a dab bowl that goes in here.
It's just how it looks. You know what I mean?
I think we
looks
ran
like
off
you're doing drugs.
Untouchable. I think we might have hit a nerve with him.
But that's what got me off of those 32 out of 35 pills I was talking about. You know,
Hey, whatever works.
Like I said, if it gets you off of hard drugs, I can't really function with the mental twitches that I have without having at least a moderate buzz during the day, just in general.
Right.
The reason being is I'm an asshole. I am an asshole. I am generally sharp-tongued, but when I'm stone cold sober, if I'm completely sober, I am so quick with my wit that I cut myself.
Well,
People
you
don't want me around.
You ran off my buddy Joe Cool.
I can.
Joe
Well,
Cool
if I
made
was sober.
Devo quit live panel twice in a row. Joe Cool is awesome. I love the shit out of that.
He's my bud.
I said, yeah, come over to Devo's Sweet Chronicles. We're smoking and this.
But now he's running around telling everybody I'm the king of the racists.
We're Joe Cool's favorite racists. Didn't you know?
Damn.
It's
I love
true.
Joe Cool, dude. I love him. He made Devo quit twice on his own panel, his own live.
Well, see, that's the thing is a lot of people kind of have smoke for Joe Cool. I got no smoke for the man. The first time I had a serious conversation with him, we ended up talking about abortion and where the line is at which yada yada whatever. Right? Honestly, I had never thought it through, so I tried to answer as well as I could, and he mistook my lack of knowledge for me being deflective. I just don't know wasn't an acceptable answer, and it kind of weirded me out, and I didn't know where to go with that. And it didn't end very well, right? It didn't end well. A couple of weeks later, I found him on another panel. I don't remember where, and I popped up and was like, "Hey, man, you remember me?" He's like, "Yeah, man, you that white motherfucking racist guy that I was talking to." And I was like, "Yeah, that's me. Except I'm not racist, but whatever." And we did the whole explanation and back and forth and yada yada yada. And he realized that I wasn't smoky. Well, there's more than that. That I wasn't mad at him or nothing. He could come back. We could hang out. The second time we had that conversation, it ended very differently because I had actually thought about the idea. Right? I thought it all the way through. And this is what I come up with. And if this doesn't satisfy everybody, that is not my fault.
Well, Michael Gambiti or Gambetti down in chat says you are an asshole.
He is correct. He knows. And this is how right. So there is a period of time typically between when a girl gets pregnant and finds out she's pregnant.
Correct.
Nobody cares what happens before she finds out she's pregnant. You can't be charged with a crime if you just did not know. There's no intent. There's no anything. So
nobody knows.
Right. Once the girl knows, what she does, I think, determines whether abortion's murder or a medical procedure. If, she tells her parents, right? That's a medical procedure. If she tells her priest and her parents, that's a medical procedure. Priest, her parents, a lawyer, that's still a medical procedure because we're still trying to figure out what to do about it. These are all perfectly legitimate legal advice locations, right? She tells her best friend or the father, and that's a baby because you have accepted responsibility enough to tell someone else.
Yeah,
What's up, Mike? Welcome in.
Definitely trust.
You, in your mind, have accepted that as a human because you have accepted responsibility for the pregnancy by telling someone outside of your immediate advice, structure, support group thing.
Agree. I totally agree.
So, like, if you robbed a bank and you didn't get caught, and you went and you asked your priest for advice, your lawyer for advice, neither one of these people can testify that you robbed a bank because you told them.
Yeah.
Both of them are absolved from the whole court system question. And so whether or not you committed a crime is immaterial to these two people, with the exception of the lawyer, because the reason you tell him up front is because you need him to defend the fact that you're guilty. So we're going for not guilty through preparation, Alex, for 500.
I'm thinking that a baby is a baby at conception.
I dig that.
I don't think that the baby should be harmed in any kind of way. So if it lives through pregnancy, it lives through pregnancy. If she has a DNC because she started passing tissue and the baby was dead anyways, let her happen. But I've been through both, and
let's quantify some stuff here. So
it's gnarly.
First of all, let's remove the whole concept of welcome, D. What's up?
Yo.
What's up, Dennis?
Say it. Tell me something. Is it you or is it somebody fixing to prawn bomb him because he didn't put up the freaking
oh shit.
Yeah, you're a little low, D.
Try that again. He was talking about abortion.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that didn't help much.
Okay. And he was talking about how they have a miscarriage.
Right. Nobody's concerned with an abortion derived from grape or one from incest or one from a bad pregnancy, just in general. Anything wrong is, yet again, a medical condition, right? I was on a panel earlier with a guy who was really angry with the world because his parents had sex and he was produced, and he was demanding, stating, and declaring that he did not consent to being born, so he should have
I knew
assisted.
somebody like that.
What the fuck?
I can't remember the guy's name. It was like Ellie
Life
Nations or something.
abolitionist.
That's him. What was it?
Life abolitionist.
Yes, that's him. Her.
Oh, I knew a guy in real life that was like that.
Well, they're antinatalists, so.
What the fuck? I mean, seriously, come on now.
I agree with him largely.
In general, he's not wrong. The thing is like he's trying to use it from a personal perspective, and there's nothing stopping him. If you catch my drift, he just lacks commitment, sir.
I make all my sperm sign an NDA before they leave.
Nice. But I ended up on
another dud.
Was it Finding Gnosis? Is that the name of it? I think
Finding Gnosis. Yeah. However you say it.
And I was over there talking to him, and I specifically came up because he was doing the whole antinatalist thing, and I was like, okay, so what's your legacy? And I wasn't looking. A lot of people make the error of thinking I'm looking for a particular answer when I ask that, but I'm not. I'm just curious what you think your legacy will be, if not children. Right?
If anybody wants to contribute, I do got a Cash App. It's on the banner floating by somewhere. I gotta get this computer fixed. Just trying to do this on a cell phone is funky.
Man, that's how Devo started. He didn't have no computer. In fact, the computer that he has right now is the second one he ever touched in his life. The only one he's ever owned.
I was on my second or third live stream, and I'm having a good time. Then I look over and realize the computer just shit all over the bed. I'm like, oh, damn.
That's
So
I don't think Devo knows how to. He really, he lives in the middle of on the edge of a cornfield. He's lived in a cornfield all his life, and he's just from a small town in Oklahoma. One of those. He even has
What's up, Sly?
cousin that talks about it in his rap music.
Wait a minute. There's really people from Oklahoma?
Not really. I mean, they live just outside of Oklahoma. It's corn in Oklahoma, sir. These are the types of people who know more about corn than you'll ever learn, and they've known it since knee high.
Iowa, go to Iowa. Everything you thought you knew about corn, throw it out the window.
Yeah.
Well, the
thing is, it's like
educate you.
It's like me with pigs. I grew up raising pigs, and so I know more about pigs through osmosis than most people will ever learn in their lifetime. Even if they go get a pig today, right? That's not going to teach you as much as raising 150 of them for like 15 years, keeping a roll. I don't know how many, 150 at a time. I don't know how many overtime. Whole shit ton. A bunch of pork, bro.
Now, I've known Devo for most of my life, and is
he twitchy?
I came from California to Oklahoma, when I was 18 years old. When I hit Oklahoma, I didn't know shit. He was like the third person I'd met, and when I met him, his family more or less adopted me. Like, I called his mom, his dad by his name, and I knew Devo and his brother, and shit, man, we're more like brothers than anything. But that's why I got Devo onto YouTube. He used to tell stories, and man, I'll tell you, them stories are pretty damn funny. To me, I don't know about everybody, but to me, they're funny because I lived through most of them.
No,
All of the videos that we played of his music, I've been at those parties. Most of them.
I did get porn bombed the other night. Immediately took the video down. Thank goodness it was at the end.
Well, that's part of the reason you have a producer, dude.
And I panicked when it happened, and I was trying to hit in stream, which was right next to full screen, and I put it up full screen for about a minute. Damn.
The best one I ever saw, dude. I was sitting, I was riding. It was kind of like this. He had been planning to do a stream, hadn't got around to it, and then suddenly he's like, "Hey, are you busy?" I'm like, "Nah." He's like, "Okay," and poof, we're doing the thing. And some dude pops up backstage, and he said the name, and I can't remember it now, but he says the name out loud, and I'm like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." And he pops him up, and poof, German scat prawn. And he freaked out, full screened it, trying to get rid of it, and then kicked himself out. And he was using a cell phone, so he had to like close it out and then re-enter back in, and I'm sitting there the whole time like this backstage going, "Oh my God."
These two guys came up, apparently. The one guy came up first, and he was questionable, so people are talking to him. and he had a gay cowboy as an avatar, and people are concentrating on the cowboy guy. Well, when his partner came in about 10 minutes later, I recognized the name, so I brought him up. Well, everyone's still on the cowboy guy. All of a sudden, this guy whips into this dude taking 3 foot in his ass, and it was like, ah!
I think everybody's gotten porn bombed.
I have dodged it. Believe it or not, I've had 3 or 4 lined up. When I hosted Jack Talcott's Sasquatch shows, I had 3 concurrent porn bombs backstage when I opened the After Dark
panel.
The second I opened that panel up, blop blop blop, and it was one came in as the Divine Sorcerer, who is another person that I'd hosted, right? But he had changed his logo, and so I knew it wasn't him. Another one came in as I think it was Road Dogs, but Road Dogs' channel is gone. He had to make a new channel, and he used the icon from my stream. And then the third one almost got me, and I don't remember who it was. It was somebody like Joe Cool or somebody incidental to the Panelverse kind of concept.
Right.
I recognized him, but it wasn't anyone I had actually interviewed. And since I'd already had 2 people that were pretending to be other people, I just didn't let anybody up at that point, and we continued talking. And I popped up a banner, and then when I let down the banner, one of them triggered. And then I popped the banner back up again and brought the one that I was questionable about and asked him. I was like, okay, so you're all up. I need you named him and asked him to talk. And he spoke. And the second he started speaking, the other one triggered. And then I put this dude backstage, and he triggered immediately after. And then I continued with the show, and
you had dicks flying everywhere. Shit,
dude, it was wild.
Devo calls it a turducken. He brought that one up. Turduckens when the girls straight up.
Never mind.
Whoa. Yeah,
it's not that critical.
Pile driver.
Good Lord.
The best one I've ever seen is Bird doing it as himself.
Huh? I mean,
Bird.
10th Man got himself 3 times. That's what 10th Man
and
did.
He was on this panel.
10th Man done a bunch
Dude
of
was
things,
outside and having a barbecue, listening to music. And he's like, man, that music sounds pretty good. And he's like, oh yeah, I just got a new stereo system. It's like, oh, let's see it, right? So the dude goes in and he turns the camera around, starts showing off the stereo system. And so while it's pointed at the stereo system, Bird starts playing some porn. And
shit.
And dude's like, here's, check it out. And they got this, amp over here and the speakers. And then every time he turns back and looks at the camera, Bird just flips it back to his regular avatar. And then he goes back and starts showing him more of the stereo system. And he turns the porn back on. This goes back and forth for like 2 minutes until Bird just leaves it on. And dude is kind of like looking at it, and he's like squinting, and he's looking at his phone. He can't really tell what it is. Then he realizes what it is after like, I think Bird might have porn bombed him for 4 or 5 minutes straight.
No
shit.
Damn.
Well, that same stream had like 3 chaotic moments in it. One of them was AJ, and he was over here dropping TOS words. So I called him aside and explained to him, I wish you wouldn't do that. I'm just trying to get started and all this. He said, yeah, I understand. 3 seconds later, he's back at it. Beth pulls him aside, has a talk. Yeah, I understand. About 5 seconds later, boom. And then to top it all off, he decided he would dox me.
I've been
on
doxxed
my own show. And I'm like,
myself.
the fuck? I mean, it's no great secret.
I see being doxxed as
AJ did that?
Yeah.
uplifting. You know, everybody knows where I live.
He was mad at,
Oh, they ain't been watching
at
YouTube very
Dusty and took it out on me.
damn.
Let's see
Somebody
what we
in the
got.
community that I mentioned earlier.
Oh, if we're gonna look at that, let me back that up here. I really don't. I don't know, man.
Should go make a cup of coffee, but you have to incentivize me to go make that cup of coffee or just fucking go to bed. It's up.
Hey
No,
guys,
you
I gotta
can't.
go.
Well,
Yeah, man.
He's giving me a call telling me it's time.
You can't make me actually listen to these people, dude. I just had it playing because I like Mater. She deserves a view.
Well, I noticed that she's got Ben sitting right next to Scrufflepunk.
Cormaxer,
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's their thing. They can do what they want to do. I'm not trying to stop anybody.
I've got, it's no stab at anybody or anything, but I've got to the point where this thing they call debate channels, I can't do them anymore.
It depends.
Because, well,
it depends on the moderator, really.
Yeah.
If the moderator has a point, it kind of sucks.
The name calling, and then you get into the scream fest and it doesn't stop. I can't take it no more.
Yeah. And I get that. But like I said, it depends on the moderator. If the moderator can handle herding tigers and lions and bears, it can be a good time. If the moderator can't deal with the personalities in play, it becomes something of a shit show. And if the personalities involved decide to take on too much on themselves, they can ruin it themselves. So, it takes some managing to do that stuff. I thought about getting involved in some of that stuff when I first found out about it because I was like, shit, but I can't shut the fuck up, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's me too. I'm trying to temper, because I get talking about recovery in general. And I get excited because I know what it did for me. And then I babble on for 20, 30 minutes. And it's like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Ren gets it. She said it's like game shows. If you ain't drama enough, you aren't much welcome.
Yeah.
She's speaking more along the lines of like modern game shows where it's, climbing Mount Fujiyama.
Yeah. I remember one day we was over at Jeff's channel, and Dutchie was there, and Denizen was there, and I was there. Damn near full panel. Well,
Where?
Dutchie at Jeff's, Gen X Jeff's. And Dutchie and Jeff started getting into it. And all of a sudden, Jeff drags Denizen into it. It turns into this big three-way fight. Well, Jeff kicks Dutchie and Denizen out. So he's wanting to talk about it. And I stood up for Denizen because Jeff was wrong in his accusations. And I got the boot. I'm going, good Lord. But that was the first time he banned me. And then the second time I never went back. Because I was guilt by association. Because I was friends with Dusty. So how you been doing, D? Did I kill the show? Apparently so.
I've been sleeping.
Ah, did you see the dance party last night?
No, what's that?
Well, you had 3 girls doing the hoochie coochie on Flo's channel. It was quite
which 3 girls?
Verily, the girl with all the tattoos, Beth, and Lindsay. And Flo. Flo did a chair dance. It wasn't pretty, but it was crazy. It was crazy. You had half the audience bitching and the other half saying more, more, more. You know how that goes. OG was there for a little bit. He didn't talk much, but he was there. So you got anything on your mind tonight, sir, other than sleep?
I got some cleaning I need to do, and then I'm probably gonna watch some TV.
Damn, this time of night? Wow. Oh.
Yeah, I'm nocturnal these days.
Me too, unfortunately. Turned into a nocturnal creature. I got to try to readjust my schedule again. We got a show started off pretty good tonight. I can't complain. Had a few technical malfunctions, but we muddled through it.
That'll clear up. Also, timing.
Yes.
That takes a while to get used to. Timing.
That's for sure.
Because it takes a little while to realize that each of us has a little bit of lag from each other's perspective. And so you have to leave a little bit longer there.
Well, that's like the guy that was just here, the auditor guy. It seemed like there was some lag because he was stepping on me, he was stepping on you.
Dude, that is one of the hardest things to deal with Captain Curmudgeon he's on the West Coast. And so that's a pretty significant bit of lag between here and there. And so
what kind of internet you run it?
I have no clue, but it's better than it was. I can tell you that it has improved. But there's still enough there that it's distinctly noticeable as a feature. And that feature is he'll start talking, or rather, he'll say something and then do that pause and wait for a response, and it goes a little too long for his consciousness to allow it to go. So he starts talking. He starts talking again, and that's about how long it takes for a response to come back. And so he'll start talking, and then I'll start talking, and he'll start talking again. I just immediately stop. Because, that shit ain't nobody's fault. It works both ways.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And if you get to the point where if both people are talking, then the audience can't hear diddly squat.
As much as I hate Hormaxer, I'd like to hear what Balderson is saying to him currently.
Because she had to get new teeth because we're old.
Okay, so you're telling a predicament of a world long gone, and you want to talk to young guys. When you have no idea. You think a young guy in the social media area of influence with social media, dating apps, and everything else, that young guys should just get married. They can't even get any ass, buddy. You have no clue. You probably
I think if you build it,
you're an old hillbilly hick that has no idea what's going on.
If you own a home and you're a responsible person, women come looking. You ain't got to chase.
Oh yeah, women, buddy. This is not 1970 where women needed a guy to beta bucks for them. Okay, and that's the only reason a woman would get with.
All right, that's enough of that trash. Right when I.
Well, that didn't work.
I gotcha. Yeah, I can remove it. I can remove it myself. Right? You're on a phone.
Yeah. StreamYard's being retarded.
It's removed. I have removed it. Okay.
Now, who told Rand we could use real words over here?
Yeah, I don't know. I like boobs. Are you bringing boobs? Fuck yeah.
Oh, we're all in for boobs.
Although,
I'd show you mine, but everybody would run.
That's how I like it. Boobs. Boobs.
Not a flattering angle. Is that what she said?
Yeah, she say it's not a flattering angle for her boobs, and I'm like, I don't know, man.
The dudes on the video. She talking about us?
Well, yeah, she might be talking about the dude on the video. Yeah, no, Hormaxer, the way he's got the camera staring straight down at him. Yeah,
he does that for a reason. In case you hadn't figured it out yet.
I actually had a conversation backstage with Dusty one night when I was shit faced, where I was trying, sort of like the skeptics argument. I was saying that Hormaxer was actually a midget in a built studio to suit him, and that he's using a filter to look like Hormaxer, and that somebody else that does it. That Hormaxer isn't a real thing.
I didn't see that.
The midget thing is extra. That was just funny talking, but the idea that he's a filter and not a real person, character, as it were. I'm just dying to know, is this guy, does he go out to like the fucking McDonald's in his Speedo? I've never seen him with clothes on. I have never seen him with clothes on.
He doesn't own any, does he?
I have no idea. All I know is that he is absolutely bombastically absurd on every level. His opinions are as wild as they can possibly be, specifically to generate conflict.
Yeah, conflict.
Hey, take your pick, man. It's the same thing when it comes down to being on YouTube, right?
True. Yeah, I've run into him a few times, and it's like, I'm glad you don't live nowhere near me.
Right? How do these people exist? Is one of the things that keep.
If you're willing to do that on YouTube, that tells me you've got no limits in real life.
That was one of the things that pretty much everybody who's talked to me in real life has said, that YouTube is Sasquatch light. And people seem to think I'm pretty savage sometimes here, but in person, apparently, I'm even more abrasive.
Oh. It's usually the other way around.
I don't know. I do know that when Harry Nuts came out, we were on vacation, and he rented a B&B an Airbnb right down the road, and we went on a little charter fishing thing. And the captain, Captain Jimmy, was about as irritated a person as you've ever seen when he first showed up. He was visibly angry about something, right? And Harry makes the best straight man on earth. And if I've got a straight man to work off of who asks the right questions at the right times, dude, I can lay down some killer bits that I've seen from various movies. And Harry is just clueless enough about movies that he just unconsciously asked the right questions. I ran game on that captain all fucking day. I had him laughing so hard he was literally blowing snot bubbles and crying. And actually it was Harry that got him the best, because I was doing I have this problem. Homie said I was ADD. He might not be wrong. I'm that kid that when I get my fishing pole and I go to cast that first time, I hit I get my hook stuck in my thumb, and I drop the goddamn reel, and then I flip it over and get it tangled, and it takes me 10 minutes to get unhooked and everything's straight. And I put the worm on the hook, and I go to flick it out there and hit a bush. And then I bounce it off the end of the dock twice and get it caught on a fucking stick trying to get it in. But if you come over and you ask me a question, and I turn and take my attention off of what I'm doing, suddenly I look like Roland fucking Martin out in that motherfucker. Like, I know how to do this. It's just I'm thinking about it too hard.
Yeah, I get better at pool the more I drink.
Yeah, I can get a little bit lit, and it suddenly starts working too. But like, I can fish under docks. I can do like the side casting shit and overhead. So like, what's up, Rand?
Not much, obviously. I still am a standard, and y'all too. Yay!
Just standard.
I'm sleeping at a normal time at night is just
Good deal. That's
one of
an
the
improvement.
skills I don't have.
Oh, so you're not sleeping at a normal time of night anymore? Okay. I kind of have a rule. Usually, not always, but usually rolling around midnight, I'm going to call it. I might make it to 2. I might maybe occasionally make it to 3, but I've got enough family shit going on in my life right now that I have to be some level of tolerant and functional during the daytime hours.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I have to.
If I have to be reasonably functional and not too unpleasant the next day.
Spaced out.
Midnight to 2 is about when I try to at least go.
Whereas my wife's more of a 1 to 3 type of person. It works out pretty well typically.
There you go.
I wake up earlier than she does, and she stays up a little later than me typically. Dude,
That's
Boobs
'cause
is
she's-
losing. Dude, it's Hormaxer versus Clay.
Oh, you kidding?
It's right there, dude. This is like reverse intelligence.
I'm
not the one doing gay porn. You are, bro.
What's on your mind, buddy, is that
You
had
literally
probably
said you do gay
fantasies.
porn.
I know
You just
had a
said
little-
that.
I'll give you
I'm
my
not the
porn.
one
I
saying
know
I
you
do
like
gay porn.
it.
I don't
Not
do
a
that.
gay
I don't
one.
do gay porn.
I gotta say, I believe Rick when he says that.
I don't know if I do or not.
I believe no, I don't believe he's done anything like that. He seems completely shocked by the perverse bullshit on YouTube in general, and YouTube has terms of service, right?
You do the gay porn.
I'll tell you what, buddy. You can
What
check
about
out
the
my
male
website
physique
in
do you
3
find
months.
attractive?
Well, I'll tell you what. You can check
What
out my
about
own
the male
porn.
physique do you
You
find
can
attractive?
tell. You can tell.
Oh God, make it stop! I don't know if I owe
But
Raging
the dude on the
Tomato
left,
that
like I've
much.
seen people play that character on movies, but that's apparently the real, maybe slightly the real version. I don't know. Oh my gosh.
I don't either. Some hills have eyes shit, bro.
Well, I know the one night somehow Flo Hormaxer sent Flo a porno he had made.
Of course it
And
is.
Flo's like, I didn't ask for this. Don't ever send me anything like that again.
Yeah, that would have put him in a slightly awkward situation because he would, he would be reluctant to, display any, weakness, but at the same time, yeah, that's
Any
not
weakness.
his policy. Oh my gosh.
I repeat my previous statement. Do you think that any of the things that he says or does are likely to attract a woman?
No.
Without money, right?
He talks about being a paid escort.
Sure. I'm not sure how.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out in my mind, is it man or woman that is hiring him for to be the escort?
I mean, does it matter anymore?
Comes across as a, I don't know if you're familiar with the term flamer.
Yeah.
Okay. Back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they used to call them flamers, the flamboyant, the really
Yeah, I had
flamboyant
a
in
buddy
your
of mine.
face.
Dude, this is one of my favorite people on earth. God rest his soul. Homeboy grew up in one of those truck driving, beer swilling, spitting, and cussing families, and he did all of that. He was every redneck you ever saw for 22 years or so, and the only time that his gay side ever came out was when he got especially drunk, which he never did in public and only very rarely did outside of certain circles. He preferred the nose candy, right? So he never slipped until I think he had a second kid, and he took both his kids to his parents and said, "Now, you've got both of your children that you wanted from me, and I'm going to Florida to be a gay man. Turned and looked at his wife and was like, you can have everything. I don't want any of it. I'll be back to see the kids about once every 2 months or so for a little while. And then I'll be back up here more permanently, and we can all be as much of a family as you want to be. But I'd still like to see my kids.
You know me, Marge.
For
I
2
like my
weeks
beer
or so.
cold, my TV loud, and my homosexuals flaming.
So for like 2 weeks before he left, he was walking around basically dressed like Mick Jagger or Freddie Mercury or something along those lines. And the thing is like several of us were perfectly aware of exactly how flamboyant this guy really was. Because there were signs, right? Like his nails were always perfectly trimmed. The man never had a hair out of place. And I'm talking driving nails on a roof in a fucking hurricane. And his fucking bangs were perfect in every case, right? The only man I knew who had matching fucking tools, bro. Color coordinated with his fucking tool belt. Like I said, he
oh shit,
there were
I'm
signs. No, he knew. We knew, right? But the thing is he was playing a fucking straight redneck from top to bottom, except that it just didn't land quite right. It never quite, it wasn't quite right. You'd be sitting around going, there's something about that boy, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but he'd like you to.
I remember I was at Fort Gordon, which is in Augusta. I spent 1.5 years there going to school. And my roommate was from Alabama. So every weekend we take off to Alabama.
And go fuck his sister.
Well, that happened too, but he thought it'd be funny. He said, hey, we're going out to a club tonight. So we get dressed, and he pulls into this club, and it's called the Yum Yum Tree. Now, mind you, this was back in 78. I'm thinking a strip
No,
club
sir.
would name
No, sir.
like the Yum
No,
Yum
sir.
Club.
Do not go to sleep under the Yum Yum Tree. It's not safe there.
Well, we walked in there, and this place, the parking lot was full of the big mutter trucks, And we walk in there, this place, I see all these rednecks, big guys, rednecks type, flannel shirts, muscles bulging. And when I finally got my eyesight, I'm looking over by the jukebox, and I see these two guys, their mustaches were together. I said, hey, look at that shit. He said, don't worry about it. I'm thinking, okay. This guy comes up to me and wants to buy me a drink. And I'm all of 17, 18 years old. I'm ready to shit my pants. But he slid his arm around my shoulder and said, no, he's with me. So the guy walks away, and I look at my buddy, and I'm like, what the fuck? We're sitting there drinking this beer. Well, this drunk guy comes up to the end of the bar, and he orders beer. Bartender gives him the beer, and after a couple of drinks, and he starts looking around, this guy hollers out, this place ain't full of but another motherfucking homosexuals. I'm cleaning it up a little bit. And you could have heard a pin drop in this place. My buddy said, don't move, stay right here. And they went after this guy. The guy went out the door. My buddy says, don't move till they come back in. They come in. We finished our beer and sauteed out the door. And over in the big ditch in front of the bar, kind of like a ravine ditch, pretty deep, was this guy in his car upside down. The big fellas turned it over. And we got out there, and I told my buddy, if you ever do that to me again, I'll kill you. I'll kill you. So anything that's got the word yum yum in it, forget it. I'm staying far away from it.
There's this.
So you've
place
never had
in
yum
Atlanta.
yum sauce?
Yeah. There's this place in Atlanta. and it was a normal bar for like a really long time, and then it sort of got invaded by the Atlanta youth LGBT community. I say youth, and I mean like 19, 20, 21, 22.
Oh, young.
So it's more like it's more like a hip dance place than it is a bar, but there is a bar there. And the first time I went, it was a normal bar. And I don't remember specifically what year that was. The second time I went was like 2013, 2014. And it was no longer just a normal bar. It now had flair.
Boyfriend, yeah.
Well, I have to admit, the nicest bathroom I've ever seen in a bar. Way better than the previous owners. The previous owners had like this fucking concrete ice trough system set up that was just retarded. Had like 2 streams of water running in from both sides and a fucking huge ass thing full of ice at the bottom to piss in. And that was basically it. There was a couple of toilets on one wall. When these people come in and redid it, the whole place got a complete and total makeover, but the outside was left almost identical. And so you walk up to what looks like a seedy bar in underground Atlanta, and when you open the door, there's a fucking plant, a healthy one, like a full-blown ficus, and the bar is marble topped, and it's a lovely shade of pink, and the lighting is very gentle and very tasteful, but at the same time, you can still tell this is supposed to be like a party house dance hall with panache. And the service was fucking immaculate, and I had an absolutely great time. It was kind of funny because when I walked in and sat down, the guy behind the counter looked over at me and was like, "Oh, honey, you're looking for the bar this used to be." I said, "I'm not really picky right now. I'm looking for a drink." I said, "Oh, you came to the right bar then. If you're looking for a drink, let's just go ahead and here you go." And I was like, okay, so obviously there's been a change of management. Yeah, the MARTA. I got a buddy of mine that lives in Atlanta, and he says traveling the MARTA is kind of like Thunderdome.
Yep.
It's just a grab bag of motherfuckers knifing each other and shooting each other and shit, like different. And according to him, at least, and I don't know how true this is, but according to him, the gangs have a deal with the mayors, with like the city, and they operate, each of the gangs like operate and quote unquote protect different trains. But if you're not cool with a particular gang, it's not, MARTA is not for you. Like, that's not your thing. You're
Same thing happened in St. Louis. They put in the electric train, and it was called the St. Louis Metro or something like that. Yeah, Metro. Beautiful stations they built all over the place, and when it was brand new, just starting, it was if you needed to go somewhere, you just took this train because that was the way to go. But when I left there 5-6 years ago, that was the last place you wanted to be, was on that train or at one of them stations. Because like you said, they were no longer gangs ran them.
I've never been on a MARTA to travel. I've been to a MARTA to pick someone up, and I walked up into the station. And yeah, I mean, no bullshit.
What's a MARTA?
There was, it's Metro Atlanta Transportation Authority.
Yeah.
What? Okay, yeah, that's it. Apparently. I didn't know that when you asked, so it might be something else, but I'm almost certain I'm right.
Metro Atlanta rail and transportation,
Yeah, rail
or
and
something like
transport,
that.
something like that.
I was there like 8 years ago. Had to ride it a couple of times.
Yeah,
sometimes, from what I understand, sometimes you get a good train and it's just like a subway, but elsewhere.
I went from like a hotel somewhat in a a nice hotel not too far from the airport, but not in like the worst spot to the city, like to where Georgia Tech was.
Please see, that's the thing about Atlanta.
I had a guy who I ended up with friends with. I made like the fanciest custom holster I've ever made was for a guy from like north of Atlanta, and so I ended up talking to him and being like, where do you?
Yeah, somebody was
like where not like the specific spots probably not to have as my endpoints.
I had somebody supposed to be making me a holster, and I think they forgot. I'll have to remind them.
That was funny, because he said it wasn't snapping shut, and I literally had the exact gun so that it fit perfect. And anyway, I ended up, him and his wife took me out for supper. I was down there, and I went and he got it out of his closet, and I looked at it, and I'm like, okay, well, we can oil it, and like we can, like I make tight tolerances so that when it stretches, it won't get worse. And I reached over there and I just like snapped it shut. I'm like that. He'd been gonna like send it back to me, and I'm like, but he'd let it sit in his closet for a couple of months, and it had formed to everything, and yeah, it fit perfect. I was redeemed. It was funny.
Lindsay tried to send me a PayPal, and she got a warning that it's probably a scammer.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong, but not this time.
I'm telling you.
You ever get ice cream stuck in your beard?
Butterflies, ice cream, sparrows, chicken hawks.
Ice cream seems like a thing that would get caught, but not necessarily stuck.
Oh no, it depends. As long as you know it's there while it's fresh.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. If you can get it out as long as it's like it just happened. But if that shit sits there for like 10 or 15 minutes before you try to take it out, you're gonna have to soak that motherfucker out.
It's like trying to pull chewing gum. Yeah.
Well, no. See, if you're trying to do it dry, sure, that's just not an option.
Yeah, you gotta wash it.
I am definitely gonna wash my beard. My beard is fucking crispy clean all the time.
I find long beards interesting because it's like I have a hard enough like time with just long hair on top of my head sometimes, and
how do you maintain your beard?
I don't really. I cut it off. It gets caught in creepers when I'm mechanicing, and then I get angry, and then it gets cut off.
I figured you'd go the other response for
I was being facetious.
He would, yeah, man. He would get his this long red beard, and it would get caught in like his AR action, and like it was enough to like, I'm like, it's gonna cause problems occasionally. And I'm like, that's just got to be really annoying.
I've never had my beard really cause a problem other than children grabbing
a
it.
Nice medium length, or at least.
Yeah, this seems to be about as long as it gets before I lose my mind.
Yeah,
but I had somebody come at me the other day wanting to know how much styling it took to get the bifurcated effect here, and I was like, no, I have a bald spot and it grows in all white and trashy like this. These hairs don't grow right there. They just don't.
Yeah, them kids want to see if that shit's real, and they'll yank on it.
Dude, my grandbaby reached up and caught hold of this spot right here and picked himself up, bro. One-handed pull up. And
Like about like the personal space thing, except for when they're like taken with curiosity. Has been my experience. It's like they're
black women touch my hair
and feel of them because when they learn that I break concrete with them, and I'm just like, that is a really like illogical move after you just learned that information. But
I think so. I have black women that touch my hair. Sometimes they ask.
And so you decided to, just like invade my personal space. Brilliant.
My son, I have a shit fit. We'll be out somewhere. I don't know what it is with women, but they think it's okay to pet the hair, And boy, he blow
okay
a
to do
gasket.
whatever they want.
Yeah, and he'll blow a gasket because he's got the tism. I don't see guys doing it. I only see women
because
do
they
it.
don't get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Now, if I told him it was okay to punch him in the face, he would.
Nah, you can't punch a woman in the face.
Oh, my son would.
I mean,
Sexism
you
takes over.
can,
You
but don't.
can't do it.
But
They don't
No,
even
no.
know how to fall right.
damsels,
The
it doesn't really-
physics
they
is
don't learn it.
there.
They're not going to learn anything from it anyway. So
I'm just saying you shouldn't.
They should just punch each other in the face more often. I think maybe
I mean-
then they would
from my
they'd learn
perspective,
they'd have
some
more
men are
manners
basically
if they
women,
punch each
so I
other
would
in the face more often.
generally refrain from punching them in the face.
But we can't. We
But then
can't.
there's
Man,
some
you can't.
Okies of the fairer gender, which in Okie is loose.
Too many murder charges.
Well, I assume that's why they had mud wrestling for women.
Yeah, but that's
You know.
different. Mud wrestling is fun.
I was gonna say, I think that's more of a spectator sport.
They need to get punched in the face. You know, you need
Oh.
and directly for something that they did, right? Like not just randomly punch in the face, because that's not going to teach anybody anything. You know, they got to get punched in the face for not acting right.
The sort of traditional Pavlovian. From experience, I've found that people in general will learn. They will associate. You can teach them an association with you as a person, so that they don't like try to pull. They sort of calm down and don't do as much annoying stuff around the person.
Me and my cousin went to a comedy club one night in the wintertime. And we get in there, and you know how they cram the tables together. And I went to take my coat off. And in the process, when I reared one arm back to drop the sleeve, I punched this young girl square in the mouth. And her lips swelled up the size of the Titanic. And I apologized for like 15 minutes. It got her all calmed down, bought her a drink, Well, the comic had seen all this. So as soon as he took the stage, he started ripping into her about the fat lip. Oh my God, she got so fucking mad again. I was like, dude, she's gonna kill me. Knock it off.
I used to date a couple of twins in high school right before I got out of high school.
Uh-oh.
The thing is like there was never anything sexual. It was just friends hanging out and stuff. And I knew what they were doing. I was one of the few people. They really looked a lot alike, but I was one of the people that could tell by the way they were standing which one was which, right? And so all that switching shit never boggled me at all. I'd be like, "Hey, April, how you doing?" when she'd show up, we'd just talk. And that was the reason why they hung out with me, because these were a set of twins that like pretended they were one person.
Oh,
so they felt themselves interchangeable for whatever reason. Anyway, I'd been on a couple of dates with them, and I went by their house, and their grandmama pulls me aside and is like, you know, these kids ain't right. I was like, I don't know, they seem all right. They bust out the baseballs, and I drilled one of them bitches right between the goddamn eyes with a fastball. They were doing fast pitch, pop, back and forth, pop, 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 and they tossed it to me, and I'm like, and she flinched.
I get in trouble. That's the only kind of baseball I know how to throw. I saw like a tutorial one time on Nickelodeon, and
it's stuck.
And then, like, my family would play once a year at Easter and kind of want to play softball, and I'm like, I was one of the more accurate pitchers, but I only know how to throw a fastball like overhand, so I often got demoted to some other position.
Why do people have so much hate just laying around? Just enough laying around to just heap it on everybody around them.
I think he wants a date with me is what I think it is.
Imagine you were him.
No.
I can't blame the guy for a second.
Really? How come?
His life has got to be miserable.
Sure. And I understand making other people miserable might make you feel better. I was once one of those people, and I get that. But at the same time, it's still an awful lot. Like, it's much.
I honestly just have little respect for the ones that, like, they shoot all those arrows in their misjudging their target, and so it's like that's not going to land.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I only respect like true trolls, and there's so many like wannabes out there.
Well, he's like a toddler, you know. You just out of mind, you know. You put him out of mind and forget about him.
Dude, go away.
Well, I mean, giving them what they want really doesn't solve anything.
Oh, now he's after Denizen. Interesting. You're next, Sasquatch, probably.
The like accidental
we've
hitting a
met.
girl reminds. I got that happened to me one time. I was getting off a ski lift, and and you had to like ski under it, like you kind of drop down and skied under the lift and there's kind of a big flat spot. And I was with a bunch of people, and so I was kind of waiting on them, and so I'd kind of pulled over to the side of this big wide flat spot, and of course it was some like teenage snowboarder, like just nailed me from behind, just like not. And anyway, I went flying, and I'm like trying to get up because it does take a minute in skis in the snow and whatever. And everybody that was with me, the guy, they were like, "She okay?" And they were all just be like, "Dude, like just go and just be gone by the time she gets up." Because I was a little hot. Like, I don't like being sideswiped. Always surprised me. I'm usually the last one to know when I'm hot, but I've come to know that the people around me usually notice first. They're like, "Hey, just move along." Just.
I mean, that story that Dusty told about in college, and he hooked up with that lesbian, and then the next morning, when she taps him on the shoulder, she got a beard like he does. That would have been a little freaky.
Well, I mean, you can't control what other people do when you're not around, Chuck.
Yep. That's a fact. Hell, sometimes you can't even control them when they are around.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying I'm trying to, but that's something they infer when I say it.
Oh, now it's your turn. There you go, Sasquatch. I knew you'd get in on it. Take it you and Grace are tight, huh?
I don't know. Grace seems to have taken an opinion on me, and I'm not exactly sure what it is or why.
Good or bad?
I'm not sure. It doesn't seem to be good.
Yeah,
but if it's bad, it's not. If it's bad, it's not very well directed.
Yeah, you're barely on the bad side, because she'll throw a little jab at you here and there, but it's nothing major.
Well, I mean, there was that stream the other day. I come in late. I don't know. It's been a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And she was in there talking to everybody. And I popped up, and I'd just gotten back from my vacation, and she come at me about my camera being down and how secondary characters shouldn't try to make themselves important. And I was like, well, there's the difference here is you're somebody that's here, and I'm the producer, and I put her backstage.
Oh, I remember that.
It just went on with the show.
Because she got in your face, and she said, "Ha, ha, ha, you got no power here." And that's when you clubbed her.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't discuss it. It just put her backstage, and Dusty never even flinched. He was sitting over there picking at his fingernails with a knife.
Well, you did ask him. You said afterwards.
Well,
you said,
afterwards.
"Oh, by the way, yeah,
I'll bring them back up if I have to, or you can take my keys if you wish." It's just there's a certain power dynamic when dealing with panels. People have to know whether or not you're serious and capable. And
that was a good one, though.
I mean, yeah, if I'll take 100 viewers off the stream without batting an eye, what the fuck am I going to do with you, Chuck?
Oh, I heard that. So as soon as she said, "Ha ha, you got no power over here," and you went blink.
I mean, that's the difference there. And I mean, I kind of wish that could have been handled a different way. I just don't think there's another way to handle her. She's difficult to deal with. Thanks, Ben.
Well, yeah, thanks to Ben, that's for sure. And I do got a whiteboard. I guess I would get the whiteboard out.
You got to show the family tree with no branches,
like she did. Oh,
family vine. What are you from Alabama? Do you know all the trees in Georgia lean west because Alabama sucks?
Damn. Damn, dude. You hard on the Bama folk.
Dude, the only reason is because I got a buddy of mine who's a Georgia fan and he hates Auburn. And he knows every Alabama joke ever told. And they all end up with your sister. Roll Tide.
Oh, poor Snafu.
He's in there writing paragraphs about you.
Oh, yeah.
I see that. Bless his heart.
I mean, okay.
Well, the way I look at it, if he's picking on me, he's leaving somebody else alone.
That's how I feel when I get like some especially annoying people on my panel, right? I figure if they're fucking with me, they're not fucking with somebody else. Like, that's about the only way I would let Mike Cerrone up on my panel, as if it was kind of a late night.
I'm having a hard time breathing. I wish I knew that. Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was in that bad of shape.
You ought to go get your oxygen tank.
Yeah, let me go get it out of storage.
Don't lie. You know it's just off camera. That's why you keep backing out.
I only use it with my oxy settling setup.
Right?
Yeah, dual purpose, you know?
I got you.
Yeah. People always obsess over like food grade, you know, CO2 and oxygen and all. I'm like, it comes off the same truck.
Now, the one thing I don't suggest breathing is not the hell's that ammonia called?
Ammonia?
Ammonia?
Oh well, it's the anhydrous ammonia.
Anhydrous ammonia? Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah, no sir. That's why tweakers go crazy. That's why tweaker cooks go crazy.
I got hit with that one day at work as I'm fighting to breathe for real.
Yeah, dude, that shit will liquefy the surface of your alveoli.
Well, it burned my lips and my throat.
Yep.
But in a self-defense mechanism, my throat slammed shut. Well, the only problem was I couldn't get no air either.
Right? Well, there wasn't no air to get, so that was pointless.
Yeah, but that was the only thing that saved my lungs, according to the doctors, that my throat immediately clamped down. But boy, it blistered my lips and my throat. That shit was wicked.
I found a new channel out there. It's not new. It's been around for a while, and I just hadn't noticed it.
I've always been like annoyingly sensitive to smelling chemicals.
Is that your alarm?
It's an alarm.
Also
it's not the alarm.
Ah, okay. Because I know you got to go soon.
I don't know why the hell I have an alarm for fucking 1:25 in the morning. That should have been. Oh, hold on. Let me check that message. Because that ain't right. I'm certain that ain't right.
Snafu, I might be old, but I still know how to play the game. I might be old, but the cannon still works. What are we looking at there, Sasquatch?
So this is a channel called Lil Bill. Lilbil. It might be Lil Water Bill. Hold on, let me check.
Is fishing involved?
Oh yeah, it is. A Lil Water Bill. This is about he does a series about different documented cryptids of various descriptions. And he's very like point blank factual kind of thing. And I've been thinking about going and doing a review series on this stuff. This one is weird, which they all are kind of weird, but this is Bat Squatch of Mount St. Helens. But I'm not going to be able to play it because I do have to go get my daughter in a minute.
Yeah, I'm fitting to shut down anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see you guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
along my social, interval
social
left.
circle has gotten small, has it?
Well, no, she just only does like
I just sort of like get out.
Yeah, I've
2
only
minutes a
seen
year.
her. Yeah, I've seen her at Gen X Jeff's couple times, and then over at Dusty's a couple of times, and I haven't seen her in quite some time.
Yeah, I used to. There were other places I used to be more often but I don't know, Gen X Jeff. I go over there sometimes. It's pretty easy to.
He
actually
banished me. I have been
conversation.
banished from Gen X Jeffs.
Me too, for being friends with Dusty.
Me too.
Probably butt heads somehow. Like I could see that.
I'm one of Jeff's lost boys.
Right.
Oh, we could start a club. I think
I did start a
Hard
club.
pass.
It's called Jeff's Lost Boys.
Oh,
I want to get off that mailing list too, Denizen. How did you get that fucking address?
oh Lord, have mercy. All right. Well, anybody got any final words? I'm going to crank her down.
Yo, mama.
Your mama did what?
Alabama. Sorry.
She did
You
her
can
fight.
pick your nose and you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
Or your
Yeah.
family. It depends on how much he's drinking.
All right, folks. I hope everybody has a wonderful night out there. I appreciate y'all being here. I gotta go find my oxygen tank according to Snafu. It's somewhere.
Snafu, I hope you have a happy moment and you make a friend in your life.
Right?
For real. For
I,
real.
mean, I hope you make a friend even if it's not with a happy moment. I mean, y'all can be united in hate.
You need something, buddy.
Xanax, a Quaalude. I don't know.
Oh, dude.
Seroquel.
A
I love
frontal
me some
lobotomy.
Xanax.
A frontal lobotomy. Is that a little too extreme?
I don't know, man. I'd rather have a frontal lobotomy than a bottle in front of me. That's not how that
I mean,
goes.
I want to like say
Facts.
like the love of a good woman, but I just don't want to push my luck, you know?
you might
God
be
can
a
only
woman.
accomplish so much.
Right?
Well,
That's-
maybe him and Hormaxer could get together.
What's that joke about the genie?
Well, I think now that Hormaxer admits he's gay, he's probably a lot less miserable now.
God,
he did admit it.
Yeah, I got him to come out on NPC's channel.
Snafu or Hormaxer?
Hormaxer.
Ah,
I don't know if Snafu's gay.
Interesting.
Snafu, if you're gay, just be yourself, man. And, you know, that a burden will be lifted off your shoulder.
That's true. A nicer version of you would be lovely, but I mean, I don't, like I said, I can't control what you do when I'm not around. You want to hear a joke? I think I remember it. I might have it wrong.
spit it out.
Guy's walking down the beach, kicks up a lamp, picks it up, rubs it. Genie pops out. Genie says, "I'll give you one wish. I'm not like those other cheap genies. My wishes are powerful." And the guy sits there and thinks for a minute and goes, "I want a bridge from California to Hawaii." And the genie goes, "Dude, what the fuck do you think I am? A goddamn miracle worker? Like, that's crazy. What else? I'd like to understand women." Shit. So do you want that bridge to be 4 lanes or just 2?
Yep.
I heard that joke when I was like 10 and used to go around town telling.
My timing was a little off.
That was a good one.
Yeah, the version I heard, it was a guy trapped on an island and he was talking to God. Same concept of the joke. You want that bridge 2 lane or 4 lane?
2 lane or 4 lane.
Yep.
All right, everybody have a good night. I'm blowing off.